Welcome back, Nuggets. This mother Clucker's got some thoughts. Let's ruffle some feathers and get into this live stream. Hello, everybody. I just saw Wide Ride over on Twitch. Hello. It's 3 a.m. and I have to be up in 3 hours. This stream could take you through to your wake-up time if you're not careful. Please look after yourself, get some sleep. Hello, everybody. Hello to Veronica and Kex, who say they're going to be in the replay. Thank you so much for popping in and saying hi. Hey, Furball. Hello, Curious. Hello, Benita, off to bed again. Hey, Yami. Hello. Hey, Andrea. Hi, Gwen. Every time there's somebody with a similar name to one of my chickens, I'm like, oh, Miss Gwen. It's a good thing, trust me. Hey, Andrea. Hello, Dexla. Hi, everybody. Hey, meh. New rules. Yes. I realized that I can put them in. Twitch has a similar feature, so just, you know, puts everyone on the same page. Hello, Nerdly. At least one of the rules makes joke cracking a bit harder. Yes, I am requiring you to get creative. And I just realized I haven't got my pop-up chat. Sorry, one moment, my nuggets. Does that work? Yeah, there we go. Hey, Des. Hello. Hey, Dead Not Sleeping. Hey, Denver. Hi, I haven't seen you in here before. Welcome. Hey, Mal. Hey, Cramblings. Hey, Darkwick. Thank you so much for coming in and modding tonight. Did I see LV as well? Oh, yes. I haven't scrolled down yet. Hello, 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 everybody. So, yes, I just saw, thank you so much to Cramblings, there it was. Hey all, today's stream has the potential to get a bit dark, so if anything becomes too much, take care of yourselves and we'll be here for you next time. I totally agree with those sentiments. So normally I don't put trigger warnings. I probably shouldn't say that within the first 5 minutes of the stream. Shall we talk a bit more? And then I'll talk about what I was about to do. How is everyone's day, week? You know what? You know what we can do? Let's look at May's Chicken Daddy. Yeah. If your birthday is in May, this handsome sir is in fact your chicken daddy. Oh, you can't see him all. Wait. There we go. Drink your water. That applies to everyone. Yes. Get your hydrates. Get your snackos. No problems, Cramblings. Okay, all right, we've passed the 5-minute mark. Okay, so yes, this stream, usually I don't put trigger warnings on my videos because I think for the most part you really get what you get with my channel. It's always talking about trauma in some way, shape or form, but I do trigger warnings when they are outside of my normal scope of content, or in this case, just so many in one place. We're going to be looking at the We Are All Insane podcast that Roz went on. And literally, if you can name the trauma, there's probably going to be a trigger warning for it in some way, shape or form. So for the mods that are in here, not super frequent, but like at intervals, if you could remind people that we're going to be pretty much across the board talking about sensitive topics all round. Like this is the video here, and you can just see by the, the list of chapter names, we're pretty much going into everything at this point. So, except, I guess, I hope, cruelty to animals, I think will be not on the list, but everything else is up for grabs. So if you need to look after yourself and miss this one, I completely understand. I won't be giving trigger warnings throughout the video because it's going to be redundant at this point. Switching to lurk mode, the baby woke up. I hope I didn't do that. I'm sorry. Yes, only the roosters are in drag. And in this case, oh, I closed it. It was a hen in the photo, so the hen is not in drag. Yeah, No animal cruelty. This isn't Amber. Isn't that a sad statement to make? So yeah, I'm going to treat you all like the very capable adults that you are, and just trust that you're going to look after your own well-being. I will be here to discuss things as we move through. But it's going to be an interesting night. Now, this video is like almost 2 hours long. I don't think we're going to get through it all tonight because you know my nuggets. Ooh, I don't know if you've noticed, but we talk a lot. So I anticipate that we'll probably do a part 2 on my next stream as well. And while I am on the topic of future live streams, don't forget all Cluckers, that is whether that's on YouTube memberships, on Patreon, or on Twitch subscription, we will be starting Cluckers only live streams on well, Wednesday for me, possibly Tuesday for a lot of you. Sorry, one moment. And we're going to start watching Hoarders as so selected by the people. If you want to get in on the voting of what show we're going to be watching, get into the Discord, and that's where all of the polls are done. And yeah, so it's going to be a bit of fun. I need to do a test to see how YouTube is going to handle this kind of copyright content. It may just be Discord only moving forward, but I'll give you a link where you can watch the replay if you don't want to get into Discord. Yummy, thank you so much. 5 gifted memberships, thank you. Congratulations, Denver, Andrea. Oh, sorry, Andrea. I got an accent there for a moment. Birdie, Bark, and the West 40. Congratulations, you've all been gifted memberships. And hopefully I'll see you in a couple of days for our Cluckers only live stream. Thank you so much, Yummy. Can we get some chicken butts and juicy peaches in the chat to celebrate Yummy? I appreciate you. And thank you so much. LV just popped up a little tutorial. It's very quick and easy to do on how to link your YouTube to Discord. It can take a little bit to sync, but if you're still having trouble after that, just shoot me a friend request on Discord and I'll get you in there. Yay, give us some chicken butts for Yamano. Yes, thank you so much. Actually, we're in a new month. I should be able to gift 5 as well. I'm sending 5. I hope. Maybe. It's thinking. Yay, there it goes. Lakin, Gina, Ira, I think, Lucy Goosey, and Bella Batty. Congratulations, you all just got gifted memberships courtesy of me. They have tails. Chicken butts, yeah, they have tails. It's just they're very tiny, so you can't see. Okay, all right. So what I've done with this one. Yeah, you just got back and you got a membership. You did, Andrea. Yeah, very tiny tails. Okay, so what I've done with this one, this is from the We're All Insane podcast, which is not a channel that I've come across before, which is super weird to me because this seems right up my alley. Anyway, so if you want to check it out, it's a massive channel. You've probably heard of it, and I'm probably, I don't know, I've been living under a rock or something like that. I'm not going to be watching it on their actual channel because I do not know how this is not age restricted, but I had to go in and clean up some of the conditions, you know, what I mean by conditions, the particular situation that YouTube really doesn't like us talking about. I talk about predilections until the chickens come home, but not the conditions. And when I say conditions, this will be in reference to both Rosie's end of the spectrum and Eugenia's end of the spectrum. So I'll give you some context around that when we get there. To be honest, though, it is in the second half of this. I don't think we'll get to it tonight. Veronica, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. I just watched this video a few days ago, and all I was thinking was Rosie and Amber are competing for the Perpetual Victim Award. Yes. Isn't that true? Thank you so much. considering she hates the comparisons, which I'm not super convinced that she does hate the comparisons, but considering she says she does, she has a lot in common with the rest of the girls. Thanks so much, LV. Yeah, so if we could just kind of give, I don't know, every 10, 15 minutes or so, you don't need to be on a super tight schedule, but just reminding people that this is pretty much going to be back-to-back heavy conversation tonight. The random number generator really does not like you. I now witnessed about 80 gifted memberships. Meh, I'm the same. I've tried to like be in and be chatty and everything just like you do and like the videos and everything, and I never get gifted memberships either. Not ever. I'm so sorry. But you're in the Discord anyway. It's fine. Okay, so shall we get started? Let's get started, my nuggets. Just check. That framing's not too bad. Yeah, this'll work. Okay. Curious, thank you so much. 5 more gifted memberships. My goodness. It is raining tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you. Jabba Nikoni, I think. Elena, Soot, and Kelly, congratulations. Hello, Scrange. Welcome in. Could we get some love for Scrange? Scrange is a fellow creator. And yeah, does a lot of really good reaction content. So if we could link Scrange's content in the chat, that would be amazing. Yes, and a fellow chicken lover. Always welcome here. It was so funny. The first time I got linked to your channel, Scrange, I just wrote back going, oh my god, the avatar. What a gorgeous boy. Is he actually your boy? Thank you so much, LV. Yeah, definitely go give Scrange some love over there. Hey, Wrinkle, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Just so you know, we're if you wouldn't mind, if you're in here for the duration, just at intervals, we're giving massive trigger warnings to everybody because all of this content is going to be quite heavy if you want to. But we've got quite a few mods in here, so it's good. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Without further ado, let's do this because it's nearly Tay-Tay bedtime, and then we're gonna have to watch Chicken Snack Crew, and then it's, you know, it's a whole thing. So let's get into it.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I was...
Oh, sorry to pause her like 1 second in. I did just want to say, this is going to be 2 hours of Rosie talking about herself. Just bear in mind that all of this is what she says. None of it is verifiable as far as I'm concerned. And while I don't want to be here automatically doubting a victim's story, because I don't doubt that some of this is going to be true, it's just the problem with this particular person is that now she's been caught lying, exaggerating, you know, embellishing might be the word, so much that now it is just going to be so difficult to be able to believe anything automatically. So we're going to watch it with that filter, but I also don't want anybody to be victim blaming in a sense either. So yeah, dramatic. Yes, that's another good word. I don't know. I haven't listened to all of this, so I don't know how much of it's gonna be even remotely believable at this point.
groomed into feederism, and it's a long story. So I guess I'll start with childhood. I was born into a Mormon family. I was raised Mormon. I left the church when I was 18. We can get to that in a minute. But when I was a lot younger, we lived in Michigan. That's where I was born. And essentially I was molested when I was 6 years old. And that's kind of the foundation of what ended up turning into my CPTSD, which is basically the same thing as PTSD, but complex. So there's some more added symptoms to it. And it's generally towards people who either have like extreme early childhood trauma, most commonly sexual trauma.
Okay.
And there's just some like additional, nuances to that kind of PTSD, wherein you basically had like a lifetime of trauma that's accumulated.
So in the chat, I know that there's going to be a lot of Roz historians in here. I am kind of learning Roz at the moment and still dialing into her behavior. And this is going to be a really good tell, I think, about where she is in her behavior. But anybody who knows things or has had things confirmed or disproven or whatever, please jump up in the chat and let us know. So straight off the bat, we're jumping into childhood trauma, which if you have been following me for some time, you know that this is an area that I am well versed in, and I'm really interested to hear how she's going to talk about it, because already she's kicking off with some really serious stuff.
And so he lived with us for 6 months, and ultimately he ended up getting kicked out when my mom like walked in on him on top of me, I guess. Not fun nor fresh. However, basically, I didn't really tell anybody the extent of what happened because what was witnessed was kind of benign compared to what he actually did. And then when I was 23, he actually got arrested on a Fed bust. He got arrested for creating and producing child pornography off of a Nintendo DS. I don't know if that detail was actually in the news. They just said it was like a handheld device, but my mom told me it was a Nintendo DS. And the girl was 7 and I was 6. I think I was his second victim. His first was another family member, not in my family. And his mother, real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, she's a really terrible human being. She's been estranged from our family since about that time. That was my mom's attempt to try to help this child because he was 12 when I was 6.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I mean, so, because that's the bottom line is like, yeah, he was traumatized too. He went through that kind of abuse at the hands of people that she let into his life. But, he turned into a monster and I turned into whatever the hell I am, which is not a monster, but a...
Do we need subtitles? I would say not. Because I had to edit this in. Rosie is an expert level at using words incorrectly. Yeah. You're not a Rosie historian, but your BS detector is getting warm. Yes. And it's interesting because I was having a chat in my Discord with Darkwick, actually. And the observation was that it's interesting how she can deliver that all without crying. And I'm really interested to know how you feel about that because, we have so many different forms of trauma within this community. And I think, I don't think that this necessarily sounds unfamiliar to anyone. I can absolutely talk about my trauma without crying, but I am a long way away from it. I've also dealt with it, and I'm well and truly into my healing journey. Plus, the added benefit of having this channel where I'm constantly talking about it, like all the time, it continues the processing of it for me, and it's almost a desensitization in that sense. But how is this reading to all of you at this point? It looks like Duper's delight on her face right now. It kind of does, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, sorry, my nuggets. I think it might be Tay-Tay's bedtime. It is. Sorry about this. It's getting awkward. It's gonna get to the point where I'll be able to put him to bed before the stream, but, light levels change over time. She seems excited, and she might be just for the actual podcast, right? Okay, I'm just going to, for a very quick moment, give you official Chook and Snack Crew while I put Sir to bed. He's done squiring his girls around for a romantic evening walk, and now he needs me to tuck him in. Okay, so I've chucked it on random. I hope you enjoy. I'll be back very soon. Welcome to official Chicken Snack Crew for March 2026. And I want to give an extra big shout out today to Bobe, Zen Puppy, and Amy, who are supporting Freddie, Nikki, and Florence. But fun fact about Miss Florence. So she is our, let's say, largest N. she is quite a heckin' girl, but she's also one of the best layers that we have as well. The thing about Miss Florence is she has an egg song. Some chickens sing a song after they've laid an egg. It's like in a celebration moment of said egg being laid. But Florence's egg song is actually a warning call. Like, as in the exact same call that you would hear if there were predators nearby. And Miss Florence has gone and actually taught other hens to do this egg song as part of their laying routine. And now there is one hen in every single coop that does it. Another cute little fun fact about Miss Florence, she's too big to do it now, but when she was a tiny little baseball of a chicken, she actually used to sit on my shoulder. And she is just so unbelievably sweet. Let's go to Freddie, my boy. He's such a gorgeous boy. So I've talked about how intelligent he is in the past, and he also is what I would call our most cuddly rooster. It's interesting because he has zero tolerance for being picked up. But Freddie actually will demand cuddles, and when he feels like he hasn't had enough attention or, you know, hasn't seen us enough, he will actually throw a little mini temper tantrum in front of you. And what I mean by that, he'll run around and cut you off wherever you're walking and then look at you and stamp his little feet, which is like his code for saying, I want to sit on your lap, please. And the only way to curb that behavior is to sit down and let him sit, and then he goes to sleep. So Miss Nikki is actually the chicken you want leading. She is an amazing leader. Some hens, cough, cough, Miss Brittany, cough, you don't want leading your flock. Just like people, some chickens are not good leaders, but Nikki is extremely fair and really takes it upon herself to make sure that there is peace within the coop. And she actually chased one of our roosters when he was a teenage boy. He was being a complete and utter butt, and she chased him all the way into the coop, into the house, and then stood outside the door for like half an hour making sure that he didn't come out. She put him in prison. She has a concept of chicken prison. So yeah, extremely, extremely smart. But once again, thank you so much to Bobe, Zen Puppy, and Amy for supporting this flock today. This is a Patreon exclusive tier, Chicken Snack Crew. And if you want to join up, head on over to Patreon. There are only 3 places left. Thanks again, everyone. Okay, so this is going to be January Snack Crew for all. Thank you so much. Today you are sponsoring Nikki. Now, I know Nikki had a turn last time, but she and another hen that I'm going to be covering this month are actually molting. And that is a very uncomfortable and very draining time for them. It's kind of like, you know, if you cut your fingernail too short and it's very sensitive, that's what they experience with their pin feathers. So I thought it might be nice to give them a bit of a treat. Now, Nikki is going to look very anxious because I've actually locked Freddie and Florence away, because if you remember, Miss Florence is in fact a treat void, and if she is around, treats somehow just get sucked into her orbit. And so I've put them in the coop so Nikki can just have Tuna by herself. But Nikki is, as I mentioned last time, super smart, and she will remember and hold grudges for years. And last time I separated her out like this, it was for medical treatment, so she's a little bit sus of me, and that's what you're seeing there. But she's taking her treats, and the extra protein in the tuna is going to be really good for her. But thank you so much again to all for sponsoring Nikki and absolutely making her day. There are still 5 spots available in the Snack Crew, exclusively available on Patreon. So if you want to participate, you can head on over there. Welcome to the second part of February 2026 official Chicken Snack Crew. A big thank you to Bobe and Veronica for sponsoring Salt and Pepper. We have grapes and strawberries for the snack today, and if you've seen my previous video for this month, this video is going to look really funny. Look how Pep is so polite and so demure, taking her little bites. Pep's had a little bit of a rough month. Salt went broody for like 3 weeks, And, you know, if you've seen these videos before, you know they are such a little duo. Axel was just waiting off to the side so patiently, so I thought I'd let him have some. But because they're a duo, when Salt goes into broody mode, Pepper's all by herself, and she's been so sad about it this month. But now Salt is over her broody stint, and she's back, and they've just been cruising around like this little duo that they are. So this is actually a really good example of how chickens are completely sentient beings and have their own set of preferences and likes and dislikes. Pep is not really into strawberries, but you saw she really liked the grape, whereas Salt really likes the strawberry. Oh, she really liked. I have returned. For anybody that's new and coming in, the reason why I have to go out and pause my stream is because Tay-Tay, the biggest rooster, this dude, where is it? Yeah, okay, when it loads, because Australian internet, my biggest rooster, he's a gorgeous boy, but he is such a softie. He needs his routine and he needs his affirmations. And he needs me to fulfill his nighttime routine. Otherwise, he chucks a pout for days. And when Tay-Tay chucks a pout, he gets a little bit pecky. And we don't want that because he is much stronger than he thinks he is. Is this a serious question, Dead Not Sleeping? What are your thoughts on feeding poultry to your chickens? No. No. Absolutely not. Definitely not. Yeah, so that's what I do when I do. Curious, thank you so much. Another 5 gifted memberships. Oh, you are spoiling me tonight. I appreciate you. Congratulations, Joyful, Ms. Mary, Shelley, Coloric, and JLP. You just got gifted a membership. Thank you so much. Can we get some chicken butts or juicy peaches for Curious in the chat? Thank you. You've seen people do it. No, don't. No, that's not a good idea. No, they are omnivores, and I think a lot of people forget that. So I do feed mine like tuna and worms and things like that, but definitely not poultry. Definitely not. My volume's a little lower than normal. That's weird. Maybe I'll just like get closer to the microphone. How is that? So yeah. All right. So that's what I was doing there. Now back to this. Here's my issue. I come from a history of trauma, and I innately don't want to not believe people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people say they've been through something, I want to believe them in that capacity. But then there are certain people in the world, you know, like people that falsely claim SA and they do it because, I don't know, regret or revenge or whatever the motivation is. And it starts to cast doubt. And then sometimes those situations can lead to really horrendous outcomes for the accused, sometimes in the form of, I don't know if I can say the word, but it rhymes with cinching. And, you know, how does that make you feel? Where do you sit on that? And then we have somebody like Rosie, who has provably time and time again, even in just the short term that I've been covering her, embellished things and lied about things. And, you know, even down to saying that something has happened and that multiple people are doing it, where it was really just one person. You know, she does that sort of thing. And then how does that sit with you believing her story? I can't reconcile that in my brain because it conflicts with my ethical boundaries. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yes, thank you so much. This podcast is from the 11th of September 2023, so 2.5 years ago. But yeah, I'm interested to know how you all feel about that, because it is a difficult thing to come to terms with, isn't it? We're still talking about chicken. Yeah, I do feed them eggshells. I keep them all, clean them, and then grind them up and give them back. That's okay. I think that's a bit different. They also can eat eggs. It's really good protein. Yes, unreliable narrator. And that's a problem when we're talking about something as serious as pretty much all of the issues that she's going to address today. Hello, Sky. Welcome in. Hey, Kim. Welcome in. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really tricky. It's tricky to listen to it. It's tricky to make commentary on it because I don't know where I sit in regards to where that line is. No, they don't. For some reason, they don't count. It's a very normal thing in the chicken tending world where you do, like, a lot of people scramble the eggs. And chickens, if you're not careful, sorry, I'm doing a side quest on chickens. This happens. Chickens will actually eat eggs by themselves as well, and you've got to be really careful because if chickens get a taste for eating the eggs like while they're in the nest, it's a very difficult habit to break them of. My silkies, for example, if I leave an egg on the floor, it will be eaten and then yolk will be all over their feathers. Mira's response is a lot more PG than mine. Yours take an egg tax. Yeah, it's difficult once they get a taste for it. Salt and pep in particular are the worst for it. Oh, that's interesting. Rosie has, oh yes, I'm sorry, that passed me by too. Scrange is like an official Roz archivist. So yeah, a bona fide expert in the ranks here. Rosie has sometimes said she didn't remember until she was arrested, and sometimes she says she does remember. And that's problematic too, isn't it? The changing stories. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything isn't true, but it doesn't look good, and it makes it difficult to sift through and take anything seriously. Essentially what we're talking about, in short, the boy who cried wolf, right? Kim, yes, you do. You get chicken facts. And I will always side quest for chicken questions. Always. Derail the entire live for chicken questions. It's always the Silkies. Always. They're little chaos demons. Never mind. What does that say about both Yummy and I that if we identify as Silkies? Some thoughts are inside thoughts, meh. Chickens are not humans. Let's just leave it there. So yeah, all right, let's continue. We're 2 minutes and 22 seconds in on the video, and we are half an hour into the live. Oh yeah, we're doing really well. Let's keep going.
Sometimes a shit show. And so, school and life growing up was really hard. I call myself a self-determined autistic at this point. I'm actually scheduled to be diagnosed in November, so it's coming up, but and I mentioned, like, I'm diagnosed ADHD, diagnosed PTSD, and recently finally got the proper.
Where do we sit on that for the Roz experts? Can we confirm as much as humanly possible? Has she ever gone back and forth on that like Amber has? Because I've heard Amber both say she's been diagnosed and she hasn't been diagnosed for BPD. What about the PTSD and the ADHD for her? Okay, cool. ADHD is diagnosed. Veronica, hello. I thought you were sleeping. No, you didn't miss much. We pretty much did Chook and Snack Crew for Tay bedtime, and here we are. Veronica, thank you so much. Clucker for 3 months. The fake autism talk pisses me off. It's not quirky. I agree. I agree with you. And I know that hits home for so many people in here. And there is going to be a lot of autism ignorance in this particular video for sure. Yeah, so we've got confirmation that the ADHD, at least as much as we possibly can, right? Okay, cool. PTSD and ADHD is diagnosed. All right. So we haven't had back and forth on that. That's something. And honestly, like, I don't doubt that there is childhood trauma. I think if we're just taking what we know and what we can look at as fact, we're clearly dealing with a fairly severe condition. And that comes from somewhere. That tends to not just spawn itself for funsies. And I also, there's clearly some anxiety issues. There's clearly some depressive issues. And I think all of that makes childhood trauma seem very logical. I think the instinct that I have with Rosie is that there's always like a kernel of truth in it, and then it's just exaggerated past that. I feel so called out. Hello, Viga. Hello, everyone. I see I didn't miss much. Rude. Oh, you're diagnosed autistic and she doesn't feel like trying to decipher, was that autocorrect? Something of yours, personal opinion. Yeah, pretty much everybody in here has been touched in some capacity by autism, and this is going to annoy somebody at some point, for sure. Gonna disagree with you on a personal level there, Meh. You're more surprised by her remembering what happened when she was 6 years old. How old is she at this time? 32, 31 or 32. This is not how the human brain works. These memories do not survive puberty. They can. They absolutely can. Just personally speaking. Kernel of truth is definitely a great way to describe her stories, yeah. And even just that, wanting to embellish stories, wanting to appear quirky, wanting to, enlarge her personality in a way that makes her seem special, that can speak to childhood trauma as well. No wonder she's so mad she wasn't diagnosed. She told everyone she would be. Yeah, the autism, yeah. Yeah, some people unfortunately have CSA as their first memory. Yeah, I remember everything crystal clear. Too clear. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. She's representing what was told to her. She was even hinting at this. That's absolutely a possibility. Yeah, they can, Kim. If you've experienced trauma, memories before 6 can absolutely burn themselves into your brain. They can. It's just this weird thing where sometimes the brain wants to block it out, and sometimes it wants to, carve it into the stone of your brain, and that's it. It's just different people dealing with trauma in different ways. Yeah. First permanent memories were formed at 3 to 4. My earliest memory, I was actually 2. I must have been very, very young, and it's not, it's very fragmented, like very fragmented. It doesn't seem real in a way. It's hard to explain.
Or confirmation of my MDD diagnosis, so like major depressive disorder, because I was misdiagnosed at 16 as bipolar.
Also, something that I've noticed about her is everything is always the biggest that it can be, and everything is, like major depressive. It's not just I struggle with depression, it's a major depressive, and I almost wonder, is that coming from a place of trying to seem unique or quirky, or is it trying to communicate to people how bad she's feeling. Oh, geez. Sorry, I'm reading through some of these comments. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I'm so sorry to everybody. As a girl with major depressive disorder, I don't claim her. Yeah. I think we'll all say that in one way, shape, or form. Yes, I'm extra suffering. That's what it comes off as. It's just, it's kind of like, oh, I've got CPT. Sorry, I can never say that. CPTSD, ADHD, autism, conditions, major depressive, you know, it's everything all at once. And while I do agree that a lot of these are comorbidities in a sense, it's like, are they all turned to like the 10th degree at all times? It's like, yeah, I've got OCD. I've been diagnosed with OCD. It's completely under control at this point. I would say that was the worst one. And I do have aspects of course, depression and anxiety that went along with that I also had to deal with, but they weren't maxed out like the OCD was, for example. Yeah. You hope she doesn't join your dreams. Oh, Scrange. That comes with time anyway, don't worry.
Wow. So were you on medicines for that?
At times. So I think my body always could tell like a lot of these medicines didn't work for me, and I'll get to this in a minute because like a lot of my journey I've been documenting as of recently on my YouTube. Quirky Love Rose.
Don't worry, we'll link you.
No,
it'll be down there.
Just had to crack a joke there, but no, but yeah, and I'll get to that because actually that username means a lot to me, and that ties back into more like the gang stalking off of Reddit and the trauma from back in 2013, 2015 that I experienced online, because I didn't use that username for a long time. I used to go by Fat Rose Phoenix because the Phoenix has a lot of symbolism for me in my life. And so, but anyway, what were we talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, the MDD.
Yes.
And the bipolar medication.
See, you got it.
Yeah, I try. So, yeah, basically I was, given these different medications when I was younger, and I never was able to stay on them long term until like my early 20s, and I had some success for about a year, but they had me on this medication for many years. I got on it when it was like a drug trial. It was called Saffris, and it was like an under the tongue
tablet.
Yeah, but it was just like it's like I think it might have been an antipsychotic.
Okay.
Which I never needed an antipsychotic, fun fact. Because when you have like a special combination of like being autistic, ADHD, and traumatized, you can come off like you're manic. You can come off like you're experiencing mania, but you're not. You're having trauma responses through neurodivergency. And
even this, she's talking about it as though, oh, this is something that happened to me and it's so extreme. And like anybody with neurodivergence or mental health issues that need treatment knows that misdiagnosis is super normal, especially in the beginning, while they're trying to hone in on exactly what's going on. And sometimes things present with complex factors. And honing in on the right treatment also happens. That's super normal. And more often than not, people will have to go through multiple, sometimes medications before they find the one that really sits right with their personal chemical makeup. And I know that we do have an expert in the chat. Many medications are used off-label, used to treat illnesses they weren't approved for through the FDA. Yeah, exactly. No problem, Amanda. Thank you so much for coming in. Yeah, if anyone needs to be sleeping, absolutely go sleep. Fun fact, antipsychotics are used for a lot of things, not just psychotic conditions. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wrinkle, you're finally getting a lot of these tests done for something, and it has been years I've been fighting for more info. Exactly. So this is, that's the problem, and it's a commonality that she shares with Amber as well, where it's like, not everything needs to be this massive big deal. Sometimes this is just how life is. You're not experiencing anything out of the ordinary or anything special. It's just, this is just the process. And again, that sentiment calls into question how much of this is going to be true, because even just a normal situation, she is already trying to embellish into something dramatic.
Like, there's not enough conversation about that. I feel like in the past couple of years, there's finally conversations happening about it, because I didn't even know about this stuff until the past few years, and doing a ton of independent research, reading different research journals and everything, just trying to understand myself better. And, you know, because I've done a lot of therapy in my life, and like EMDR I did for several years. Done a lot of DBT skills, CBT skills, individual therapy, talk therapy, art therapy, music therapy. And yeah, so anyway.
I didn't hear equine or bovine therapy in there. We've done all of the therapies though, for sure.
And that's all started at the age of 10. Okay. So like I was bullied a lot in school. My high school experience was weird because when I went into freshman year, I went to a brand new high school. So I was the first freshman class to be in the building. There was a freshman class and a sophomore class. And when they were freshmen, they had to be freshmen in a middle school. So like It was a really weird situation. And
see, I'm sorry. I want to approach this open-minded, but then she does it. Coming into a school at a certain year is not a weird experience. That's just sometimes how that goes. I'm sorry. I want to be open-minded. I want to be accommodating. It's difficult. And I know that she's in a situation where she's probably very excited to be talking about herself, but curious to long cows do bovine therapy. Seriously, cows are just like little balls of love, and it's and while we're on the topic, can confirm chicken therapy is also great. I can't talk. Great. Yeah, your spouse calls your chickens your emotional support chickens. Yeah. Viga, you need to do a deep dive onto this girl. You have no idea who that is, but I like talking to all of you, so I would like to contribute to the conversation. Yeah, Rosie's officially going to be on my list for historical deep dives. She's a little bit tricky. I was having a chat to Nikki T, and she was explaining that Rosie has had a long time on the internet, but it's been across all different types of platforms, in all different fields, under all different usernames. And so it's not as easy as like Eugenia, where I can just go grab her TikTok stuff, or I can just go grab her YouTube stuff and then talk about it in a chronological fashion, which is normally how I like to do things. Rosie is going to have to be tackled a little bit differently than that. But yeah, I have a lot to say. Yeah, she's new to most of us. Join in learning. Yeah, honestly, I am probably at a similar knowledge level to most of you, and we have a handful of experts in the chat, which is really cool to see, like the both sides of it. Yes, thank you, LV. Please be cognizant of misinformation also. I second that. Because we can have our opinions. That's why I want to be careful about what's confirmed or what's not confirmed. And it's tricky because we're not there. But yeah. Yeah, it's all over. Plus she burns bridges and has made it so others can't talk about her. And also, do you remember when we covered Taylor Reid? Forgotten his last name. The guy that basically he's been changing usernames, but people don't follow. So it's like nobody's linked them all together until Sam. And yeah, it's kind of like that. Jenny Lynn, thank you so much. Welcome to the Clucking crew. Don't forget to jump in the Discord if you want to. And keep an eye out for the members only stream as well. No, Reed was his middle name. I'll look it up. I've got it written down.
Yeah, in middle school and high school, I was relentlessly bullied, and to the point of like pretty much not pretty much everybody knew who I was, but it wasn't for like a good reason.
Yeah.
It was like I was the butt of every fat joke. There was maybe only one other kid there who was even like remotely as big as I was. Because, I was molested, and at the age of 6, I started gaining weight at the age of 7 because
Taylor Reed Sowers. And Reed is double E, not E-I. Yeah. Join the chicken butt and emo chicken emoji. Yeah, Cramblings has been working so hard on so many new emojis. I love them. I love them so much.
I didn't remember the event of like my mom walking in on anything, because what she walked into was just like the beginnings of something. So they didn't have a full understanding of what he had actually done to me in that time. And I didn't tell anybody until I was like 16, and I told a friend, and then I didn't tell my parents or a therapist until I was 18.
Okay.
And so pretty much my entire childhood was literally and metaphorically shoveling everything that I could. And I was a Mormon. I wasn't out going doing drugs, so I was eating, right? And
yeah, substance of choice. See, I believe that.
by the time I was 9, I had really extreme depression, but that was back when kids couldn't be depressed.
Right.
Kids can be depressed. And I think we know that.
Madam. Come on. I was born in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. This is not a thing. Maybe in certain, I don't know if it was like a religious school or maybe just a very conservative school of some description, or maybe her parents just weren't educated to being able to get her the help. It was, and I'm going to speak for my elder millennials, it was our generation that was told to just be normal. You're a little bit young for that, Rosie. That's not your story.
That now, more or less, and I think there's a lot more grace given to that, at least in like standard society. I know there's lots of like different cultures that may still struggle on those topics for sure.
No. I was a child in the mid-90s. She would have been a child in the 2000s. It's still, your sentiment is right though, but no, slightly off. She's not that old.
And it's sad too because there's no age, and especially too when you've gone through something, it's like as a child you might try to block that out and not really necessarily remember details, but it's there. And everything that happens in life, I always say everything that happens, both good and bad, have an impact.
I love that, Kim. Elder millennial, I'm with the right people. Yes, you are. Yeah, she was born in 92. So if she's talking about her teenage experience, so she would have been in high school in the 2000s. Yeah, this is absolutely like she's by that point this was well known, but like I say, if it was a conservative school, I don't know, maybe. You were a child in the 70s, you're making me feel old. She was 6 in 97, so on the cusp of the 2000s. Yeah. The good old 80s. Don't eat the mushrooms in the wood. Chernobyl happened some weeks ago. You remember that well. She can't have been born in 91. No. Surely not. I require math. If she's 34 now. Oh yeah, 91, 92. Man, I'm older than I think I am. Yeah, so, like, I don't buy it. It could be her experience. I tend to think probably more it's that her parents weren't responsive to it, if that's what was happening. Because the older generations were just, told to be normal and get through it and keep going. And so, unfortunately, then there's a generation of parents who also were managing their children in that way. Sorry, reading comments, and I'm aware that I'm not talking. Everyone's looking. Okay.
100%.
It's about the experience.
Yep.
You know, there can be 40-year-olds that couldn't even begin to imagine what a 7-year-old has experienced.
Yep, exactly.
And that's the missing nuance we had for so long in regards to mental health. And I think it stems back to a lot about how children end up getting treated like property so often, or like extensions of selves of parents instead of as individual tiny humans.
So is that what she's blaming her parents for? And I agree. I fully agree with that sentiment. I think what she's saying is right. But is that what she's saying her parents did?
Have individual tiny needs and that get very mighty when the world places expectations on them they never should have had to begin with.
Right.
And so, and my home life was really unstable. So I took a lot of solace in the church. And, I'll say to my parents' credit, they have done something that most people of my generation don't get to experience. And that's go to therapy as boomers, and like take accountability and give apologies. And, I give them so much credit for that because, I think a lot of people in my generation were raised being yelled at a lot, and I had a lot of expectations placed on me that I couldn't meet, and no one knew why, because, I'm autistic, and like I don't even need a doctor to tell me I'm autistic at this point. Truthfully, the reason I'm pursuing a diagnosis is just because I want my parents to believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually want to do a whole video on this because she did seek a diagnosis, and it seems like she pulled out all of like the stereotypical what somebody with autism would do, like headphones and eye contact and that kind of thing. And I find this very interesting, but she wound up not being diagnosed. The diagnosis came back not autistic. Nikki T, hello. I don't know if I can go through this again. I'm editing at the moment. I'm so sick of it. I feel that. That's okay. Please look after yourself. You're so sick of her non-autism. Can I just say, Nikki, I really enjoy sassy Nikki. I like got into a live the other day and I just have Nikki immediately yelling at me like, does trauma stop you from being able to decorate? Thanks so much, Wrinkle, for linking Nikki. If anyone is interested on another Roz historian, so we've got Scrange and now Nikki in the chat, both experts and far superior in the law to myself. I'm like, Vera, back me up. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be a resident trauma expert. Why not?
And I've been kind of transparent about that because at this point they still don't. And I understand why. That would require a lot.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Des. Yes. I'm Gen X. I take offense when she tries to take my experience. I wasn't diagnosed with things as a child, ADHD, autism, family history of depression, etc. Because I was born with a vagina. Yes. Also, were you not just a child told to be seen and not heard at that point? I resonate with that too. And like, I haven't been diagnosed with autism. I haven't. I was, however, selectively mute. Oh, no, somebody corrected me on that term. Who corrected me? It was a much kinder way of saying selectively mute. And I definitely had the eye avoidance issues as a child, among other things. Most of my family are diagnosed with autism, but I wasn't because I was living with my mother and I was told to just be normal. So I resonate with that she's stealing the experience. And at this point, I don't really care what manner of neurodivergence I have. I'm living my life and it's working for me. All is good. The non-diagnosis worst part of QLR part 2 is dropping tonight, Nikki. Everybody look out for that. I really like your videos, Nikki. They didn't even expand the diagnosis beyond severe intellectual disability until 1989 in Australia. Wow. Yep, I was definitely born before that. Thank you so much, LV. Linking Scar as well. Yeah, I haven't been able to get over to Scar yet. I keep meaning to. So yeah, needless to say, we're all going to be heavily triggered throughout this entire conversation. But isn't it interesting though, just putting 2 and 2 together at the moment. So the way she's talking is like she's trying to take the elder millennial Gen X kind of upbringing, right? And it is possible that she had that with her parents, maybe. But if they were open to taking her to therapy, I'm questioning whether that would be the case or not. But also what's interesting is now her current boyfriend, Remily, is obsessed with the 90s, even though he was born in 2001, which would be like me being obsessed with the early 80s, which, yeah, okay, fair. But he's obsessed with the 90s. She's talking like she fully lived through the 90s and was a child in the 80s. And then, I don't know, is there a link there? She's so not Gen X. Yeah.
For them to consider about what happened in my childhood.
Oh, because you think...
Because my brother's autistic.
Okay.
And he was diagnosed when we were children and I was not. Now, is that their fault? No, because the science didn't exist. The research didn't exist. Hans Asperger, the guy that Asperger's is named after, is a literal...
Hold on, hadn't that already been changed in 2023? Or is that more recent? I'm sure. Does anyone want to fact check me while I'm live? When did they stop calling it Asperger's because of the connotation around that particular individual? She takes on other people's personalities. A la Amber. He's your cousin, Yummy. Yeah, I heard that. That's definitely fact. Thank you, LV. Fact checking me, yes. Yeah, you're in 2013, it definitely would have been called Asperger's. My goodness, I cannot believe how riled up this has you all. I mean, the chat usually moves, but goodness. Yeah, that's valid. Religious/rural upbringings tend to lag behind when it comes to understanding mental health therapy and diagnosis. The only thing that I'll say that she's dropped that would change that is the fact that her parents were open to therapy. Okay, cool. Thank you. Asperger's syndrome was officially renamed and merged into the autism spectrum disorder ASD diagnosis in 2013 with the publication of the DSM-5. So even if you allow a few years for, language changeover takes time. That's really interesting that in 2023, where this interview was, and even though her brother is diagnosed, she's still referencing this. Yamano, you got in right before the DSM-5. And it's interesting because, you know, if you know, you know. I've done a lot of research into Munchausen's and Munchausen's by proxy, or factitious disorder imposed by another, whatever you want to call it. But interestingly, when we see people who wind up with factitious disorder imposed by another, usually there is some manner of sickness that's gone on in the family. So, like in this case, what she's saying, and what I'm kind of inferring is malingering at this point, right? Because she's profiting off it. If she's grown up seeing her brother get attention for having autism, there is actually a fully documented precedent for people then taking that and trying to put it into their own life as adults. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say? If this were a video, that would come with receipts and everything. But yeah, this actually makes sense to me, that if she was witnessing her brother going through it, getting a whole lot of attention, getting a whole lot of therapy, getting all of her parents' time and all of that, then for her to make up things and essentially be malingering, it tracks. Yeah, well, yeah, Levi works and is independent, but she's not. But it tracks, because if he was, like, autism frequently works where it's more difficult to get to a functional level through the formative years, and maybe he had more attention with him on that point, where he's now to the point of being fully self-sufficient and sounds like a fully functional adult at this point. But she's continuing it on because essentially she's continuing to try and seek that attention that she feels she was entitled to and did not receive. Not verified, just speculating. Just based on other research I've done. It tracks. Oh, interesting. She also wants to be able to use it against her parents as revenge because, see how you treated me and I have it too. Yeah. And then she goes and tries to get it and isn't autistic. Or LV, she also claims to have fibromyalgia. I wonder if I'll hear about all of that. Don't even get me started.
Nazi scientist. Like, this is all factual. Like, you can do your research. It's all out there. Like, this isn't like speculation. Like, he was a Nazi researcher. He purposefully did not publish his research on little girls. He did research also on like POC children and white boys. He published the white boys. And so that's why throughout the 90s and early 2000s and like the Jenny McCarthy's, is that her name? Jenny, whatever her name is.
Yeah, right.
Her little push on autism and and the damage of autism speaks and everything, and how autism's been portrayed as like something to be cured, as like a disease, when it's just a neuropathy and a way of processing. And
neuropathy. I'm sorry. Neuropathy.
In conjunction with other intellectual disabilities and things like that, it can have far more severity in some people versus others. Right. But autism is a spectrum, and back then I couldn't be autistic because I was hyperverbal, because I was hyperlexic, but I would also struggle with reading too. Like, so I read so much as a kid.
No, I was actually just thinking that autism speaks is not what she thinks it is. Oh boy. Conflating that with what now I've blanked on her name. Madam with the vaccines and the whatnots. Conflating those two things is interesting. Wait, I'm confused. Does she like her parents or not? You sounded so Australian there, Vargo. I love it. She wants to weaponize diagnoses against them, but also is eternally grateful that they sent her to therapy. Genuine question. And it's interesting because she also like, without a doubt, I would say there is parental abuse going on in that situation. So I think the whole situation is just a mess. And yeah, I think there's blame, I think there's resentment, and I think there's also acknowledging that she is fully living off them at the moment. Hyperlexic, but also didn't speak till 5. I am not well versed on hyperlexic, but now I want to go research it. Yeah. You've also heard that functioning labels are no longer used, as it reduces autists to what they can accomplish or produce. So now there are levels. Yes, because it used to be high functioning or low functioning, and yeah.
Regret the tattoo now. I got this before the JK bullshit, but you know, Harry Potter was such a big thing for me as a kid because it was like a story about friendship. And you know, I spent so much of my childhood feeling like...
Sorry, just before she finishes that thought. You appreciate it, LV. Yeah, you dip out when you get too ragey. Fully understand that. Can I also dip out if I get too ragey?
I was never understood and like had all these expectations of being like a neurotypical Mormon girl, and I could never meet them, and feeling like a constant failure, and being Mormon and feeling like that because of what my cousin had done to me, that I was somehow less pure, that I was no longer innocent, that I was of the devil, that there was evil in me. Like these narratives that I formed in my head because I was too scared to talk about what had happened. And being like 14 and being interviewed by the bishop and being asked really inappropriate questions about my chastity and having to like, am I lying to him? Because it's not like I chose to do anything in any sexual nature, but they had been done to me. And so I wasn't ready to tell a strange man in a room by myself with the door closed what had happened to me. I couldn't even tell my mom. And so, you know, that's what I think of like when I say religious trauma. I got lucky in...
See, some of this tracks to me. Some of it sounds right, and then some of it sounds like other things she's read about experiences. Yes, Vera roosted to bed, chicken on roof, plenty of excuses for rest. You do not believe this came from her parents. It's not known with Mormonism. Yeah, can you elaborate, LV? What am I missing? You also, you just want to point out, of course, it depends on the type of autistic and ASHD, but a couple of friendships where one is autistic and the other is ADHD can be a match made in heaven. Yeah, actually. Oh, same, Barry. Yes, I am a fellow dyslexic person. Girly pop. Also just told to, you know, practice reading and wasn't acknowledged in my childhood. It has a lot of different types, locations, beliefs. Of course, it's a massive thing. I can't line it all up with a few lines. Okay, no problems. But you'll definitely chat me, yeah?
In the sense that I was never abused by leadership in any sexual or physical way. I had, you know, personality disagreements, but I'm a bit spicy, so that's just kind of how life goes for me. And especially when I was younger, I was a lot more hot-headed, and I was a lot more unstable because I had no sense of self. I had such a deep, deep hatred for myself. Like I had no self-worth, like no grounding for anything like that. Like,
okay, so I acknowledge that this might be true. And I think that this is a really painfully common experience. Because if we're talking just people in the chat at the moment, without, you don't have to give details, but like any neurodivergent people, any LGBTQIA plus people, anybody who doesn't feel like that they fit the stock standard mold that we were all designed to fit out of in school, who here had a bad school experience? Chuck a 1 in chat. Because I'll be here going 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Nobody, you know, people that, in my experience, people that had a good experience in school is the minority coming out of school, because schools tend to be designed, there we go. Schools tend to be designed to fit the most neurotypical kind of child possible. And so it doesn't seem to matter how slightly you don't fit that mold, you're going to have a bad experience as a result. And yeah, it's just like everybody. And I appreciate that that is difficult. We've all gone through it. We've all had to wrestle with it and get okay with who we are as adults, which is powerful, by the way, to embrace your oddness in whatever shape or form it takes. But the way Rosie is delivering this at the moment, it's like, this is so unusual. This is so dramatic. This is like a devastating life experience that I've had. And the reality is that it's like, for the most of us, kind of what we experienced. Yeah, I'm seeing bullying as well. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you dropped out after you moved to upstate New York. You got your GED 2 years after, and I got some of the highest scores in the area. Yeah, because your school, it's just not a good fit for everybody. It's really not. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yes, Rosie is unique. But I feel like my point of bringing this up is not to undermine or diminish her experience in any way. I do believe that, knowing what I know about Rosie, her time in school was probably not easy. I do believe that. But I think to be able to gain some perspective on other people's experiences and other people's lives and how they get through things and how they overcome, and to be able to take all of that in and weigh up your own experience in a way, I personally feel like there's comfort in knowing that so many other people also had the same experience, because it means that I'm not alone, and it also means that I'm not unique in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? But she's using this as an aspect of her personality, and she's pushing that. And the same as Amber, I really think that this is just derived of a couple of things: a really, really exquisitely low self-esteem, like on the floor, so low that, let's be honest, it's probably in the basement. And also never challenging oneself to try to develop a personality of any shape or form. Oh, Pammy, I feel this. It was both overstimulating and boring at the same time. You hated it so much, you just wanted to be at home. Now you work from home. I feel that so much. Ms. Paw, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello. Ms. Paw is a regular and relentless replay nugget usually. I'm so delighted you could catch one. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Well, I suppose technically I work from home too. No, Nikki, I will just push back slightly just on you, because I do acknowledge that you know a lot more than I do. But frequently, I think what can look like extreme narcissism and believing, overdoing that one thinks that they're gorgeous, what I'm talking about is the underneath, that core belief, that thing that you might not even admit to yourself, that it is such a a devastating truth in your life. And that right there is what I'm talking about. So frequently you will see these people still outwardly talk about like how gorgeous they are or how fantastic they are or whatever the case may be, but underneath all of that, it's my feeling, I could be way off, but I believe Amber to be the same. Yes, I agree with that. She believes standing out is the best thing she can do no matter what. But it's histrionics, in your opinion. Yeah. Because she's made this her personality, because she's not developed an alternate, set of coping mechanisms in this world. This is who she is, and it's a list of letters and diagnoses and medications, and that's who she's become. Yeah. Thank you. You said that better than I did. A lot of people with inflated self-esteem are using it to hide their actual low self-esteem. And it might be just something that they don't even say to themselves. Yes, valid. Please remember these are Rosie's words. Views and opinions. Be aware of potential misinformation being told in this podcast. Absolutely.
I never got the environment or the opportunity to foster that for myself until I hit my early 20s, and ironically downloaded Instagram. So I guess I'll just kind of transition out of that. Like, I think I'm actually posting a video soon about my experience living Mormonism, but I left when I was 18. And
what is that process like?
Isolating, but also freeing.
Okay.
A lot of people say that Mormonism is a cult. I've always called it like a diet cult. The best way I can kind of explain that, because I feel like calling it a cult is a little too extreme. Mm-hmm. But the mentality is there. Like, I got iced out really hard.
What did your family think?
So my family's a bit of a unique experience. My dad left when I was...
If everything is a unique experience, I do believe nothing is a unique experience. Curious. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Thank you so I'm speechless. I am without words. Thank you so much. Mods are all doing a fantastic job. Much appreciated. Vera for the caravan. I'd only waste it on Timu otherwise. Love you. Oh, thank you so much, Curious. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you. Beyond generous, especially considering that Curious also supports on multiple platforms as it is. But heck yes, Curious, get Vera that caravan. Oh my gosh. Fully without words. Thank you. Yeah, and I am so lucky with my mods. And Nikki, I will fight you. I have the best mods. Thank you so much.
10. Okay. I have no idea where my mom currently stands, but I believe she's still believes in the gospel, as far as I know. My sister is the only active Mormon left in my family. My family has never been the type to be as extreme as I've seen other Mormons, who will disown family, things like that. We drink Diet Coke, there are some Mormons that they take the Doctrine and Covenant so seriously, they won't drink caffeinated soda, things like that. But growing up, we didn't drink coffee, we didn't drink tea or, anything like that. And, we would go to church most of the time. I would say that for me, I clung to the church really heavily when I was young.
Sorry, I'm serious about Timu. I just wasted. I promise I'll put it to good use. If anyone's interested, by the way, in my last live, I actually did a caravan tour and explained what's happening with the grand plan and everything. I am going to be doing regular updates as well, probably on my Thursday, Friday stream. I'll just do a quick little, slide in. This is what I've been working on. And yeah, because you all are kind of part of it at this point, to be honest. But thank you. This does not sound right to you at all. That's very interesting. So I do know a little bit about Mormonism, though not as much as I would imagine. It's not a major religion here. And I would be interested to hear anybody's input on this, to be perfectly honest. And I'm willing to do more research for sure. Really? Hello, long live Wasabi. Hello, welcome in. She doesn't even know the Mormon rules. Is that true? Oh, I'm going down such a research rabbit hole after this. Most Mormons drink Diet Coke but not coffee. I wonder, now, I just want to say, because we are kind of obliquely getting into a religious discussion here, what I don't want is a debate in the chat or anything like that. So if we could just keep our opinions to ourselves, because we are all here in the same capacity. But I imagine that with Mormons, it is going to be like most any other religion, where there's going to be varying degrees of extremity, basically. So, some people might be very casual about it and do the more casual things, whereas other people might be very, by the book, so to speak. So where her parents are going to fall on that kind of gradient, I have no clucking idea. Absolutely not. So, that's interesting, actually, what you just said about polygamy. So one thing that I do know about Mormonism is that it did split off into two sects because of that polygamy issue. And so we've got one that went with with that side of things, which I fully agree is a cult and horrible, because we've got child brides and awful things going on. But then the other side was a little bit more in the vein of your traditional kind of organized religion. But that's as far into it as I would like to get. Please be respectful of each other. Religion is not usually a topic I like to invite into it, but clearly she's discussing it, so we're going to discuss it to a degree. But please look after each other. And know that this can be a heckin' divisive topic that I don't really want to get into.
And when I was 15 is when I had a conversation with a kid in high school, and I was kind of like, we were arguing about gay rights, and closeted queer me was on the wrong side of history, talking like a dumbass, and spouting everything I'd been spoon-fed my whole life through the doctrine and everything. And this guy was so sick of my shit, bless his heart. And he finally just goes.
One thing that I will, Shazzy, Mormonism research time. As Eastern Orthodox, I still find researching different denominations interesting, and I find appreciation to the difference. Differences between denominations. Yeah, so one thing that I would like to ask is, if we're talking about interviews with the bishop, and we're talking about we're observing doctrine, and we're observing not eating or drinking certain foods, is that sounding a little more serious than, say, a more casual Mormon? Let me know.
Goes like, and because a lot of this I don't remember, but this is the moment that's always stuck with me, like throughout my whole life. I was probably about 15 at the time. He goes, I just don't understand why two people can't love each other. Like, what's so wrong with that? And I froze, because I remember like there was like, we were in like a social studies class or something, and there was chatter, and the room went silent to me. Like, everyone was still talking, but to me, like, everything went really quiet, and I just had this really soft but very loud thought of, I don't know either. And then immediately something came out of my mouth to defend myself, because I needed to be right, because I'm a Sagittarius, and with a Taurus moon, so I have to be stubborn. And not a Taurus moon, Taurus rising. Who am I?
I'm glad you know all that stuff. I'm into all of that. That's so
Cancer moon, then, if you're curious. But which is why I get so emotional sometimes. But anyway, if you I like that stuff. I don't take it like too terribly seriously, but at the same time I take it seriously. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the same way.
But I walked away from that conversation, and I was never the same. it shook my world because my entire world was built around that. I was very isolated as a child. I didn't do much outside of church and school. I didn't go pretty much anywhere. I mean, at one point, my parents had 7 jobs between them.
I understand that she's trying to communicate the severity of her feelings. And I think, when I've talked about this kind of main character syndrome thing that seems to go on with the girls, I think they see their own perspective. They struggle to get out of their own perspective. And in their world, everything they feel is the most real and the most extreme compared to all of us. Clearly we're just functioning through life, so we must be fine. We must have no trauma. We must have no feelings about it. And I really believe that that's kind of the perspective that these girls carry within their own, I guess, the way they see the world working and the way they see adults working. But the reality is the fact that she keeps hyping everything up to 10, like everything is a 10 out of 10 always, it really starts to like desensitize you almost to what she's saying, because it's like, well, everything is unique, everything is extreme, everything was so bad, everything was weird. It starts to be that nothing is, and that's a problem. If she had have come out saying, varying degrees of severity of things, I think I would have a lot more patience for it and a lot more respect and be willing to listen to things. First rule for being taken serious: don't bring feelings to a fact fight. Mm-hmm. Right. Your understanding from watching ex-Mormon content, where'd you go, is that those practices are very mainstream among Mormons. Right, okay. They aren't very casual about that generally. Yes, when you compare genuine childhood trauma to having to eat green beans by using the word trauma, yes, for both, you diminish the word. That's true. That is true. And I don't know about you, I've experienced this a lot in my life. Anybody else who has experienced genuine trauma, is this something that you've experienced? I have talked to a lot of people about my experience because for me, I think talking about it is healing. It's a positive experience for me to talk about it, which is why I do. I have had multiple people share their story with me, and there's just something about the way that they deliver it that makes you kind of go, I'm not sure. And after they hear my story, they tend to stop talking to me. And it kind of makes me wonder, is that because they were making it up? I don't know. Is that because they're trying to inflate their own, exactly like what I kind of think Rosie is doing here? Has anybody else experienced that? Because I've had it multiple times, including one who said, this is going to annoy some people, somebody said that they were involved in the Epstein situation and a certain president was involved in said activity. These are not my words, but this is one of them. And it makes me wonder, is that what happens? You also find it fascinating how she wears all that as an inflated badge of honor. Yeah, I really don't want to be defined by my trauma. She seems to make it her whole identity. Yes. Yes. Yes, you've had that, Des. You've had that happen. Imposter syndrome, checkmate. I love that you've given it a name. Man, my main trauma was broccoli. It hurts me even today.
Them. And yeah, 7. Like, it was like, that was later on in my childhood, thankfully.
Oh no, I know it's an actual thing, but like I hadn't connected it with that actual thing, and then to put checkmate, love it, just love it.
So it was really like sheltered and a little lonely a lot of the time. And also I struggled to make and keep friends. Most of the friends that I made friends with me as a joke, and I was autistic and I wasn't in on the joke. And so I started questioning everything, and then I just got so angry. Like, this was around the time I got misdiagnosed as bipolar, because I was just filled with rage. I had people telling me, like, when I was around the age of 16, they have memories of me literally, like, bulldozing down the hallway, like, elbowing kids out of my way, because I was sick of everyone's shit at that point. I had been walked all over, made fun of, like, at one point I got pants in the hallway. Some guy like threw a dodgeball at me in 6th grade and like blew the wind out of me, like, because he put all of his energy, like all of his might, into hitting me square in the back. I mean, I had like people pretending to be my friends, so I would trust them and share stuff, and then go out and like make fun of me for it. God, like, just the list goes on and on. And so by that point, I was itching to fight. By that point, I was getting an ISS for getting in disagreements with teachers. Like, I was looking for opportunities to fight, and like, not physically, more or less, more verbally, just like, because you
were angry.
I was so angry, and like, that's, I think, eventually what kind of led to me finally telling the truth about what my cousin had done.
Well, because over time, things just bottle up, and it's going to eventually spill over. You know, you can't keep everything in forever, even if we try.
Yeah. And so, and eventually what ended up happening is, before I made my Instagram, and like when I left the church, I overcorrected.
And that was at 18?
Yeah. So by about 2021 is when I discovered the amateur Reddits. Okay. So part of me losing my virginity when I was 18, like, is actually in conjunction with how I left the church. So I met some guy off of Yahoo Messenger, because I didn't know what the word BBW meant, the phrase meant at the time. And I was 18, and I get into the chat room, and I'm like, what does BBW mean? Because I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, that's a good point. You find it interesting that she said that she was autistic, like she grew out of it. Especially ironic considering that she had not yet sought a diagnosis. Anyone can have thoughts on where... anybody have any thoughts on where her food aggression came from? It's a good question, isn't it? I mean, there's so many causes for this kind of condition. She says it's because her family was poor, but they worked 7 jobs. Right. So, that's interesting, because covering Candy, she talks about a similar motivation. So she experienced food insecurity very young, and she attributes her kind of sense of get it while you can to that as the issue. So it makes you wonder, is there truth there, or is she repeating or parroting somebody else's story? And why does the brother not have more issues than this? There's questions, isn't there? You've been on the other side of Rosie, and you had food aggression slightly different, but you definitely had it. It's an interesting rabbit hole, for sure.
Like, all the other channels had made sense to me. And they said big, beautiful woman. And so my 18-year-old, like almost 400-pound, if not 400-pound response was, wait, people actually like fat people, which is the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
But, to them, they thought I was a troll when I said that, right? That makes sense. But they started getting mad at me, and I was like, no, wait, you don't understand. I'm 18 and I'm fat. And so...
Yeah, absolutely. Food can be used as a constant comfort. So I think it's like taking comfort away from her. And It's kind of like, you know, when you hear about people who are struggling with addiction and they're trying to overcome it, there can, if one were to like go cold turkey or whatever and remove whatever the substance of choice is, there can be an addiction transfer to something else if correct coping mechanisms, self-soothing and things like that haven't been established in the process of getting rid of the harmful substance. And if, you know, when it comes to food, it can so easily release all of those feel-good hormones in the brain that it's so easy to just repeatedly tap that button. And if no effort has been put into, you know, said coping mechanisms and self-soothing that are productive, it makes sense that she is just going to keep tapping this button. You don't believe anything she says. They're just too much. Yeah, that are just too much stereotypes, statistically very unlikely. Plus, she lied too much in the past, and the giddiness while she talks about it. Oof. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean by it sounds like she's read somebody's story, because it does sound very stereotypy for sure. It's so hard to pull apart though, isn't it? It's just like an absolute ball of knotted yarn. Like, yes, some of it's probably true, some of it's probably authentic, and I don't want to minimize those experiences, but at the same time, how the cluck are you supposed to know which one is which? And she's caused that. She herself has actively caused that doubt in people's mind.
When they realized I wasn't a bot and I wasn't a troll, my DMs exploded. And I was like, what's happening? Because I was so sheltered. Like, I can't express to you how sheltered I was. I had never had a boyfriend. I had never been kissed. I had like a couple of like little high school dating moments that lasted like a couple days. This was right around the time I met my first boyfriend.
Well, it was probably shocking too, because it probably felt like, wait, like I just found a community of people I didn't even know.
I just realized there was a second person in the room. I had forgotten she was there.
Existed.
Yeah, exactly. And so like one time I had like, so my dad would build us like zombie computers and stuff. He's always been a tech guy. We call them zombie computers because he'd get parts from all these places. So it was, you know, like the year 2010 and I had a Windows 95 PC, but I had it to myself. Because back then, like most people had like one family computer everybody shared, unless you were like rich, and in which case then you could have your own.
Is she talking about her generation or mine? I feel like, oops, I muted myself. I feel like it's mine. I mean, maybe accounting for different economic statuses, maybe it continued over the years. But also, if her parents were so poor, why was she able to have her own computer? Yeah. Also, hello, Marge. Rosie comes across like Emma and Chantal as an eternal victim of everything and everyone and lacks the willingness to look at her own part in her life. Yeah. Because look at all of the people who have experienced trauma, like really, really bad stuff. And do you know who comes to mind? Oh no, what was her name? I don't know if you watch Crime Weekly. They just did an episode on her. Amy Smart? Is it Amy Smart? Where she had gone through this horrendous thing in her childhood, and now she's just standing up, bringing awareness to cases that need awareness brought to them, and that's how she's spending her time. She's become this powerhouse. Elizabeth, thank you, Elizabeth Smart. She's who the clock is Amy Smart. She's become this absolute powerhouse of a woman, in spite of her childhood experience. Yes. No, it is Elizabeth Smart. I don't know. My brain has checked out today. I am tired. You know, so many of us find a way through in strength in spite of what we went through. But the girls like to hang on to it and make it their personality. Amy Smart's an actor. Yes. No, I know who you're talking about. It's definitely Elizabeth Smart that I'm talking about. Oh, you're probably right, Dexler. They did the Amy Bradley case. Yes, I've completed the names. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My memory, it's questionable at best at the moment. I need the sleepy time.
But you needed like big time money back then to be able to do that. Now it's like everybody has a computer,
Right.
you know, of some sort. But yeah, I one time I logged in and I said my ASL, because again, like 2010, and like I got like 80 DMs in the span of, I'm not kidding, like 2 seconds, and it crashed my computer. And I was like, what is this world? And so I ended up losing my virginity and like kissed and everything in one go, which is like, yeah, I wish I could have been smarter about that. But I don't know why, I got a bug up my ass that I needed to do it. And
so was it like just somebody random you met
yeah,
online?
well, it really sucks because he was like 10 years older. He totally took advantage of that. Yeah, like.
But he happened to be local, like lived
He was visiting, and it was just like I lied to my parents. I told them I was spending the night at a friend's house. This person is a piece of garbage, but at the time I didn't know that. I knew her since she was like 5, and back when I went through the stuff in 2020 that hopefully we'll get to, she really like screwed me over. But you know, narcissists be narcissists.
Hold on. Sorry, I ran back. Hold on. That was interesting. So what she just described was real mistreatment. And she just minimized that, because what she was talking about being a teenager, and this guy was 10 years older, and she had her first kiss and lost her virginity in that moment to that man. That man is a predator. She minimized that, where everything else has been over the top dramatic. And that makes me wonder, was that real? And that's the one that's, you know, a flippant response. It stands out. It's interesting. Hey, rude, cramblings. For my own giggles, how many minutes have we made it into the podcast? 21. Stop it. Oh no, is that true, Naomi? Are you ruining my favorite true? Actually, it's not my favorite, but yeah. That's upsetting to hear. She was at least 18. Didn't she just describe it as that she was a teenager because she was lying to her parents? I suppose you could be still lying to your parents at 18. That's interesting. Hey, rude. It's about right. Yeah, it is. I knew that this would take 2 parts. I was hoping that it would only be 2 parts. We'll see. We'll see how we go. To be fair, you feel like we're getting through it fast today. Oh no. Oh, LV confirms. Sorry, I'm just having a little morning moment for shows that I like to watch. That's upsetting. Why can't people just stop being cloacas about things so that we can enjoy our people in peace? Makes you giggle the way Vera says rude at the same time you do. We're twinning, yummy.
I think she was one of the first ones in my life. Mm-hmm. And it took me a really long time to figure that out because she was like a really good friend. Well, I was a really good friend to her, but I think most of our friendship, she, you know, used me, and just in general was a pretty unkind person. Yeah. So yeah, but she did cover for me. She's actually, my mom hated her because she's the one that really taught me the ways of being not Mormon to an extreme for sure. And in fact, she's the one that told me about the Reddit boards, because that all happened a couple years later. I downloaded Instagram. It's like the timelines of this from like 2012 to 2016 get really fuzzy. So sometimes I get a little confused on the years, or I might be off by 1 or 2 years. So I do apologize. This section of my life is a big blur, especially because of the r/fat people hate drama stuff that I dealt with. Not even drama. That was traumatic. Which, have you ever heard of that subreddit?
No, I have not.
They got disbanded in, I think, 2015, if not 2016 for sure. Like, Reddit had to intervene and completely remove the subreddit. Before they did, though, they had done a really good job of ruining my life. So it all started on the positive subreddits at first. They have ones for like BBW, SSBBW, just different like fat people, like amateur porn stuff, just like posting nudes or whatever. So I started posting on there, just like nothing like too crazy, just like photos of myself and stuff. And then I was really young at the time, so I was getting a lot of positive attention. And I actually met 2 people during.
So this is an interesting, I always am interested to hear people's like entry stories into sex work, because like, just for the record, in case anybody doesn't know, I fully support that as a valid career path for people who want to do it. The concern that I have around it is that I think there can be a tendency to exploit vulnerable people within the industry, and not everybody has really good intentions with it. And so Hungry Fat Chick Candy, her entry story was she essentially followed a man into it and then was exploited by said man for many, many years. And there's a lot of criticism around her that she like gave up her children and all of that for that lifestyle, but in actual fact she was attempting to get them away from it, a situation that she also felt like she couldn't get away from. And it doesn't sound like trauma necessarily led her into this. It sounds like attention led her into that, and I find that fascinating. Gets a bit blurry. This is always the problem when you invent so much stuff. Yes. Never lie, you never need to remember what you told whom. Simple. Actually, I live my life by that because my memory is not good. Life gets so much simpler when you don't start inventing things and you start lying. It really is so much simpler. And in my teens, I had a real problem with lying. Of course, trauma, right? And I realized that like, this is awful. This is an awful way to live. What is this? What is this dissent happening in my chat? Don't let Vera or other Aussies indoctrinate you. Marmite is far superior. My goodness. What is this? This is scandalous. Salacious. Yeah. Maybe it was a drive to want to be loved, to be accepted, even. She was 18. Okay, so it's not illegal, but it's, yeah. What if you forget the true stuff too? At least your story might change. It'll be fine. Okay. I see dissent within the chat, but we're having Marmite versus Vegemite debate. May I be controversial for a moment? I'm going to be one quirky girly pop for a quick, just a moment. My favorite is Promite. I'm going to leave that with you all.
This time that are very pivotal to the story. One is the stalker, and the other is the person who I thought was love of my life. They were both in my life for about the same amount of time, and I'll get to that in a second. But basically, I started posting, and I had people in my DMs encouraging me to do things like Chatterbait, this is before OnlyFans, so like getting connected with like certain like porn sites or whatever, just like, you know, you could make a lot of money. And because especially in like the SSBBW world, like there are ways to make really good money, like especially if you know what you're doing. And nowadays, like if you already have an existing following and stuff, it's not hard. And so yeah, so I started posting on there, and then that's when the first blackmailing happened. I don't have any proof to this, but I believe the blackmailing was done by my stalker.
Okay. How old were
Okay, so I guess this is the segue into the stalker situation, of which I know nothing about, other than the fact that she called the people who took photos of her in Texas were stalking her, which disagree. I think that's a very liberal word to use, but I'm just going to go back to the Vegemite Marmite thing. I said I liked Promite, and for the non-Kiwi, non-British, non-Aussies, they're all yeast-based spreads, but they all have very slightly different flavors. So they're all very umami and very salty, but yeah, they do have different flavors, slightly. Yep, Promite. That was it. To my palate, Promite has a slight, ever so slight sweetness to it. It doesn't have sugar added or anything like that, but it's a little bit, I don't know, it's different. But you've got to have excessive amounts of butter with it. Yes, exactly. Look, having actually been in that situation, gone through it, knows what it's like to have somebody outside while you're in the house. The situation, I think, that happened in Texas could have been considered a stalking situation if the people had have been waiting outside of her house and then they followed her around the town, or they saw her out in the town and then followed her home. I think that would have made it a bit more of a stalker situation. It was just a paparazzi situation. Weird, yes, but just paparazzi. She was dating a new guy and had a stalker virtually at the same time, I think. I could be wrong. This occurred during her time in Nebraska. Why is she in Nebraska? I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. Promite was invented in Australia and is vegan. I didn't know that. That is cool. Love it.
you at this point?
I would say I was roughly 23, maybe 22. This was in like 2012, 2013.
And
the interviewer was like, I really don't need to be here for this. I'm just gonna like put in some propping up words and then continue to drink my beverage.
This is all on like Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, I had moved over to Chatterbait, and so I had like closed down my Facebook, but the one thing I didn't do was I forgot to hide my family list. So this guy was a lot scarier than he seemed.
Okay, a lot scarier. So where did I just see? There. Nikki T found the place where those photos were taken. I'm not gonna lie, I did think about doing that myself. It was literally a traffic light. So one of them was a traffic light, the other was like in a drive-through of some description, and I actually wondered if the drive-through was really close to those traffic lights. Did she find both of them? You just Googled it? Watch the interviewer slowly back away. Do we think this interviewer is questioning her life choices that led her to this moment? Why do all these things end with might? I don't know. Why do you require Australians to make sense? I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Sorry if I'm missing things. You think the interviewer is questioning Rosie's life choices?
because he had found my Facebook, which, to my own stupidity / ignorance, I used my real first name because I didn't want to fake a first name, but I just used a different last name or second name. And it wasn't hard. It probably wasn't hard to find my Facebook. And I had locked everything else down, but basically I was live.
So this is something that she encountered very early on, and yet, hello, rice pudding, and yet she still doesn't use, good cybersecurity methods, and she puts her boyfriend at risk of being doxxed. So this is not a new thing for her. This is something that is repeatedly happening. Are you serious? She recognized it. Nikki was watching the vlog stream where they were in the Cadillac at night the first time. They pulled up at a red light and Nikki happened to recognize it in that vlog Rosie said they'd been. Right. Yeah, and the second pick was, KFC. So my point was, I wonder how long they actually did follow her. It could have been like around the corner. I agree with this. Yeah, the gang stalking bullshit. She's a forever victim. I don't like the use of certain words being bandied about because it fully undermines the experience of people who have actually gone through it. And I know that there's certain essay allegations that have been made that were digital. It's like you can log off. It's not the same thing as actual essay, as actual trauma that people have gone through, horrible situations that people have gone through. But you're going to use these words as though they do match what everybody else has gone through. Cramblings, shame. I don't think you need to follow Rosie to spot her. I wonder if the car suspension sounded like Fruity Scooty. You know that happened to Amber, right? Apparently Destiny's car, the suspension was shot on the passenger side. Oh, good point, Curious. Yeah, the other way around, you got the feeling they were just seen at KFC, then both ended up at a red light down the road. You don't get the feeling it was deliberate following. No, I don't either. And that's why I say if they had have followed them home or something like that, absolutely, that's a different situation. This is paparazzi activity. Not something I would do. It is a bit weird. What does Zach say? It's weirdly. But it's not stalking. Like realistically, she didn't even know they were there at that point. Sorry, one moment. Naomi, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Congratulations, Ms. Lemon. Don't forget to jump into the Discord if you want to. The mods will shoot through a tutorial on how to link your accounts if my mods would be so kind, maybe. Can we get some chicken butts or juicy peaches for Naomi in the chat? Thank you so much. Super important question here from Wrinkle. Apart from toast, what do you put your mite on? Sandwiches? My personal favorite is a cheese and Vegemite or cheese and Promite sandwich. The real Aussies in here will tell you that they'll have a lettuce and Vegemite sandwich. Not personally for me, but I'm not going to judge your use of Vegemite.
For the third time ever, when he's like, "Are you full legal name?" Which that weirded me out because I don't even think that was my Facebook name.
Yeah.
And then, "Is your mom full?"
The fact that she can say, "I didn't think that was my Facebook name," that's concerning. You should know, especially if you're moving into a public figure kind of role. You really need to be careful about these things.
Name is your dad full name? Is your grandma full name? Is your aunt full name? And so I freaked out because at this point, I wasn't sure if my parents would disown me for doing something like this or not. I just didn't know. We didn't communicate a lot in a very, concise way at that point in time. We were still kind of reeling from childhood stuff, and I just was afraid of that. Like,
well, I think also, like, no matter what age you are, that, like, what you choose to do in your free time doesn't necessarily, we don't really go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to share this with my parents. You know what I mean? No matter what age you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it just kind of became this really big thing. I immediately, like, so because there were people watching me as I was reading this, so I stayed silent and just, you could see on my face that something was wrong, but I just ended the live.
Does anyone know if the footage of this happening is still around somewhere? Like, where she realizes that happening? Do Aussies have real cheese? I love that these are the important questions. I so welcome this. I'm always happy to answer Aussie questions as well as chicken questions. Do Aussies have real cheese and not the stuff Americans call cheese? I ask because we're mostly by parts / edges of cheese wheels. Yeah, we do have real cheese. We also have like a fake cheese kind of thing. They're usually the cheaper options, but it's absolutely not the same as in the US. You think it was an Insta Live? Oh, thank you, LV. Can I just do a shout out? Can we just send LV some love in the chat? Because LV has been doing so much research behind the scenes and really helping me out. In fact, the link to this was sourced by LV, and she's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And basically he was like, he made up some story about a guy pretending to be my boyfriend and scamming him of $300. And I either needed to give him his $300 back or I needed to do what he said. And I didn't have $300. So I can only describe what I experienced that day as like web, like rape. Like, I don't know. Like, it was really traumatic, to be honest. Like, it sucked.
Yeah.
And
so this is what I mean. Like, yeah, that's a really, really horrible situation. And it would be scary, especially having somebody essentially blackmailing you in that capacity. But to use that particular word, you know, you can say you felt violated. You can say that you felt like your boundaries were breached. But to use that word, it's not the same, Rosie. It's just not the same thing. And to attempt to put it on the same level, firstly, makes you look very, very ignorant in undermining other people's experiences. But it also starts to pull into question the other things that you've said you had trauma on. Because if you had the actual trauma that you say you've had, then I don't know that you would use that word in that situation. And that's what makes me concerned about this. And I hate that. I want to believe her. And you know what? More to the point, I want to know what is real and what is serious so that I can make the proper accommodations for her, so that I can put the right filter on, put the right lens on to view her actions through. But to do that? Yeah, she uses these words that people having real trauma from. It's maddening. Yes, blackmail is not R/SA. I didn't edit out her word. I don't know if I can say it. I'm not going to risk it. But yeah. And this is the problem. This brings everything into question. Yes. Oh, Rice. So true. This is Roz's Rain and Petals eavesdrop moment. Sorry, giggling at the word moment, not at the situation. Oh, thank you so much, Curious. If you have a membership and you want to join the Discord, sign out of Discord and sign back in again. It often helps. The problem is that YouTube and Discord don't sync in real time. It syncs at intervals. So it seems like logging out and logging back in forces a sync to happen. So, yeah. She was coerced. Yeah. Rain and Petals eavesdrop. She used the wrong word. Boy, did she ever. Yeah. And the situation didn't need embellishing. The creepy person found her information and used it to blackmail her. That is a shit situation. That is a situation that anybody would look at and go, yeah, no, that's horrible. That we wouldn't wish that for you. So don't embellish it. I'm sorry. Did I say it wrong? Rain and Petals eavesdrop. Those extra syllables are just, it's like Rosie saying, babe. Honestly, you've completely lost track of the video we're reacting to. Your brain is only picking up on the random side quest interactions. I'm sorry, Chazzy. I'll tighten it up for you. I should do a better job. Yeah. Yeah. What? Oh, no. I'm an Aussie. Okay, this is how I say things.
So what, he just made you do things like online?
Like on a Skype call.
Okay.
And I think he recorded it. And if I like, and what I remember is that ended and I had a thought to myself. I was like, someone like this is going to come back. Because I like, not to be that person, but like I watched a lot of Criminal Minds growing up, and I'm not fully caught up on all the seasons, but I've watched it a lot. And when I was younger, I think I used it weirdly as like a coping skill, but nowadays it's almost a little too much for me, so I don't watch it like I used to. But I just was like viewing it as like a profile of someone who's gonna behave that way. Like I was like, he's gonna come back. Little did I know.
Sorry, I just called that follow-up. No, I'm loving the side quest. I'm saying my brain is shooting out the video. This happens to me when I cover Rachel. And I have to like, because I've got dual monitors set up, and I have to physically, you are all on my right, I have to physically turn to my left where I'm watching the video and like focus. No tightening up. My main mission is to cause side quest realness and derail. And I fully indulge that, don't I? Every time. Don't forget, I'm a little silky. I'm a chaos demon. I need to do a members only side quest and chook and talk. Oh, I could probably do that. So I'm scheduling the members only streams once a week. It'll be on the same time slot, whatever it is for you on Thursday or Friday. It'll be on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever that is. I've got the details on the Discord. But yeah, we could slide in because a few of you have been asking for just a chat session. We could do that. I also may or may not be planning something a little special behind the scenes that I think you might all like. But I cannot divulge what it is just yet. But I think you'll like it.
The day after, I'm pretty sure I was talking to him in the DMs and he was comforting me. Because I am a victim of a narcissistic sociopath. He stalked me for a total of 8 years. We met around this time. I think that was his first attack on me. He led.
Skype call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He led the gang stalking because a lot of women were targeted on r/fat people hate.
Can I just say I've never heard this term before outside of Rosie? Gang stalking? I mean, I think it makes sense that there's a group of people who are stalking a single person or multiple people. I've never heard that term before her. And you're saying it's not gang stalking. Do we have a definition of what said gang stalking? Is it pretty much what I just said? You don't think I've ever lacked a special side project for you? Oh, I know, but it's fun. It's fun to do surprises. Super fun. I'm sorry. I was just scrolling. Meh, really? I like how Aussies and British sound. It sounds intellectual, somewhat Attenborough-like. And then what I caught was, I was curious. Seriously, you think an Aussie accent sounds that way? I think we all sound like bogans, do we not? Okay. Gang stalking is a delusion that some people can have when unwell. It's a paranoia, a made-up delusion. Gang stalking is the belief that one is being systematically followed, harassed, or surveilled by large coordinated groups of people, often described as community stalking. There was a famous case in the 60s of a woman who was having that done. And everybody thought she was making it up. She may have been, I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting, but it feels like the interviewer is trying not to zone out. I think you're right. I'm picking that up too. Okay. So just floating this out there, given that we've got the definition that it's gang stalking is a form of paranoia or delusion or something that is not happening in physical reality, is it possible that Rosie was being gang stalked? Just floating that? Not the way she's describing it, but just like yes. See, Cramlings were on the same thought process again. So ironically, her saying she's being gang stalked means she's saying she's deluded into thinking she's being stalked. Yeah. You feel Aussies can have an intellectual accent 50% of the time, and the remaining 50, it's absolute sarcastic. Oh no. Oh, I think you're missing part of it too. QLR is the type who believes anyone looking at more than one of her public online accounts is stalking her. And see, what makes me concerned is that I personally, in the short time that I've been covering her, have witnessed her taking a single person or maybe just a couple of people and then describing it as many people doing the thing, right? So it's, for example, she was saying that there was a whole lot of biphobia around her and Remily. It was one creator, okay? While it probably wouldn't have been the way I would say things, it was a little bit biphobic, it was a little bit phobic, generally speaking, but like it was one creator, and that turned into people are being biphobic. So, you know, do you see what I mean? Does one creepy person online then turn into a group of people doing it? Kimmy, look at me. It's nice, it's unusual, I like it. Sorry, I'm just... I mean, this is kind of the extrapolation that she puts on it. So gang stalked equals the postman knocking to deliver a package. It's difficult to I'm clicking on everything. It's difficult to unravel what's going to be real and what's not when she starts doing that kind of thing. Yeah, Vera knows what I saw today, and LV knows what I saw too. Problem is, I get traumatized and then I want to start sharing it with people. Baby cheeses. Okay, for anyone who hasn't seen Kath and Kim, the Aussie one, not the American one, you need to. It's great. They are icons, okay?
like a lot of us. Like back when I first created my Instagram, like I posted my first ever selfie of me leaving the house in a tank top for the first time after leaving Mormonism. Like I joined the body positivity communities because I made an Instagram, and at first I was like anti-Instagram, like, oh, why do I want to get on this like app where everybody just posts food pics? Because again, 2012. And I was a little late to the game, but I was early before it got super mainstream. And so I went on the BBW tags because I knew about those, and that's how I discovered body positivity, F Your Beauty Standards. And eventually I became one of the first admins of Pizza Sisters for Life, which was like, it started as like a joke when one of...
So it really does sound like Amber, where she kind of just chameleons her way through these things and adopts people's personalities and interests and perhaps illnesses. Instagram wasn't just food pics in 2012, but okay. Oh, Dead Not Sleeping. You've never heard of Kath and Kim? It will rock your world. He was a homosexual. It's fun. It's very fun.
My mutuals on Instagram got wine drunk, and she made a hashtag Pizza Sisters, the number 4, life with a Y. And it kind of became like an alt movement to things like F Your Beauty Standards and stuff like that, because a lot of us don't really mess with like Tess Monster for stuff she did.
I'm curious, has Rosie always been on the more morbid side, or was she just a chunky kid? The way she describes it, it was always quite up there. More than just, you know, a little chubby kid. Yes, can confirm, only watch the Aussie version. Don't. They did like with The Office, you know, how it started in, it was English when it started, and then the Americans took it over, and it was pretty much word for word. They tried to do that with Kath and Kim as well, but it doesn't work without the Aussie. It really doesn't. QLR definitely adopts other people's illnesses. I think she wants to have ASD because of the attention her brother receives from the parents for having ASD. Yeah, I agree. We actually discussed yeah, you are so on the same page as us. We discussed that earlier. I agree. That's true. 400 pounds at 18 tells you a lot. Although, can I just say, I think she, you know how she over dramatizes and extrapolates out the other things? I think when it comes to the number on the scale, the opposite of that happens. So it's possible that it was even more than that. And I don't think we'll get to it tonight, but in my next stream, where she's discussing what her current weight is here, I just don't know how the numbers could possibly add up to what she says. So I think it was quite bad. You saw a childhood photo and it was pretty heavy. Which, it's sad, isn't it? Because at that age, that's on the parents. You know, it kind of supports this thing where I believe I see in Mimo, her mother, that she's quite like conflict adverse. And I could imagine a very demanding child at that age, you know, chucking a temper tantrum, being given into, and then when the parents try to rein it in, chucking a temper tantrum and escalating it until they give in again. And I could see that playing out based on the adult that we see in front of us. How old was she when she did the video for The Biggest Loser? I think she was 20. We're going to cover that too. There's so much Rosie stuff I want to cover. We're all learning about her together. Sorry. Still, I'm sifting through conversation versus Rosie versus Kath and Kim. Yeah, 20. Yep. Pictures from 2012-ish, she looked smaller than now. You'd guess probably 400 to 450, which is, I think, similar to what she said in this state as well. I don't know. I haven't watched it fully. I just had to edit out some words that YouTube doesn't like, so I caught some of it. But yeah.
Way before she was mainstream. Or sorry, Tess Holiday. I don't keep up with her. Like I don't have anything too much against her, but like there was people that were a part of those spaces back then know about like the t-shirt scam, and like she did some shifty stuff back then, and you know, I can't speak who she is now or, you know, anything like that. And I don't, you know, I'm not here to talk shit about nobody, but that was part of it. Like a lot of us, because at that point that was like right before she got big, but she was really well known on those Instagram spaces and had pissed some people off and stuff. And so yeah, I would basically just blog about my journey learning about feminism, intersectionality, POC culture.
Did she just say sectionality?
Just, you know, things that being raised Mormon, super sheltered in the rural South. You know, I just
certain words, if we could avoid saying the Anna style, the bots can read now, and I've got you up on my screen. What Ms. Lemon just said, pretty much Rosie says as well. Yeah, it's wild. But yeah, please stay away from Anna kind of words. Intersectionality. Okay. All good, Ms. Lemon. It's just, yeah, AI is smart now.
I had a bit of an awakening, and so I definitely was pretty vocal, and I was 23, and I was trying to come into myself, and I've done a few different overcorrections in my life, and so I think some people found me like really irritating just because I was loud and vocal, and a lot of these places like the r/frat people hate them.
Also, can I have a small rant about that word? I cannot go anywhere near that word. YouTube hates it so much. And what bothers me is that the Anna word is, unless you put the second word like Ms. Lemon did with it, the Anna word is referencing a legitimate medical situation that is essentially nil by mouth. I'm trying to really censor this to get around it. It doesn't mean what they're using it to mean, which means that you can't say a medical word. It's annoying. It's annoying. When was the last time the other lady has spoken or moved? Is she asleep with her eyes open? She looks a little glazed over, doesn't she?
LOL Cal sites, Kiwi Farms. There's all these different sites that are like dedicated hate forums essentially, and that spend their time like basically tracking people that they call like they call them LOL cows, and to be an LOL cow, you basically have to be somebody that people want to hate on, and a lot of them have a theme of either being autistic, fat, mentally delayed in some.
No, ma'am. No. Okay, that framing makes it sound like we're all just picking on mentally unwell people. That's not what a lol cow is. It's the quote-unquote being milked for entertainment because you are presenting your life in such a ridiculous manner that it's entertaining to watch. It's not about the mental illnesses that come with it. Did I do the no thing? Did I go Aussie on you? Also, I love the LOL cow, not the lol cow.
Way extremely awkward, and then those people also somehow get lumped in with like predators and like really terrible people, racists, things like that. But then weirdly, these people in these forums are a lot of them. I won't.
Well, I mean, yeah, the racism thing tends to come up a lot, but it's because these people are ridiculous doing ridiculous things. Rice pudding. Thank you so much. Doubt she'll mention her ALR vlog essays. Oh, yeah, she... she tried to be a weird sort of reaction channel, didn't she? Actually, I remember Charlie saying that she tried to come in as like a blurred line between the the girl and the reactor. Yeah, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you, Curious. I don't hear it either. Vera, you're saying no. This is from a bona fide Australian, everybody. I'm saying no, not the no. Although I am aware that occasionally I do it by accident. I find it hard to do it on purpose, though.
Say every single one, but a lot of them are being racist, homophobic, transphobic. Like they'll target like trans people that aren't passing well to their standards.
I was gonna say basically like your experience on like Reddit and these, I guess, what was the other one? Chatterbait? Is that what it's called?
Chatterbait, yeah. Well, yeah.
Like all of these things, like, so I feel
I'm sorry, is this interviewer too young to know what Chatterbait is? Anyone else picking that up? But she's speaking. She's in the room.
like there, I mean, and this goes with anything. There's positives and negatives because I feel like there's these groups that you can be a part of and almost feel like, oh, I fit into this category or I can, benefit from this. But then at the same time, it opens it up to all these evil, hateful things.
At the end of the day, I got targeted by one person.
Okay.
That was able to put a magnifying glass on me like a tiny little ant to set me on fire.
Okay.
It's the best way I can explain.
One person. So is it many people or is it one person?
Yeah. Had that man not gotten involved, it would not be nearly what it became.
Okay.
Because when I was being posted, so like basically every time I posted on Instagram, I remember one time when I was like we were in the heat of it all. And also I was in the middle of getting into this relationship. So when I met both of these people, my stalker and my ex, I was like,
cool. Thank you, Nikki. Walkie's time. Rosie used to write essay-long recaps about Amber's member streams on Reddit, and I made a video on it. It's a lot of reading. I didn't read it out loud for you, sorry. That sounds interesting. See, this is what I thought would come out of this interview. Because I can't really go chronologically, what I was hoping was I'll start here and I bet several branches will come out and then I can start really delving into, each of the little prongs that comes out from this. And that is going to be one of them. I'll read it out loud. It's okay, everybody. I love for some reason putting large amounts of text up on the screen and then reading it out to people.
Considering dating, because when I was 19, I had been in a relationship for about 5 months. He ended up breaking up with me on our 5-month anniversary at 2:00 over.
Polly? What's his name, gang? Oh no, I'm gonna get the giggles. That is too funny.
Over Facebook Messenger. And a couple of days later, kissed my best friend at my house. Then she was dating somebody else at the time who, turned out to be a child predator. And he claimed he was reformed or whatever. And that man literally tried adding me on Facebook like something like a month ago.
I am not following this. I just saw... yes, Marge, you just subscribed to Nikki's channel. You'll be educating yourself on Rosie's stream after this. I mean it when I say that, I'm not going to send you to boring channels. Nikki T is genuinely hilarious. I really love watching her stuff, so please do head over there. She's a fellow Aussie and a fellow Burb friend. So yeah, definitely give her a shot. Very, very entertaining, and does a lot of like live sniping and things like that. So a little bit different to my format. It's very cool.
I was like, who the fuck are you? Bye. But yeah, this whole little saga I'm gonna kind of glance over.
Okay.
But it was insane because trigger warning. He tried to slit his throat in front of me. I had to jump on him, me and her, and keep the knife away from him. And I had to stop him from trying to kill himself. Whether he ever actually meant to, I think he's strong enough that if he really wanted to, he could have gotten out from me. I think it may have actually just been a manipulation tactic. But
my goodness. Yeah, Sparkle Fairy? She doesn't want you to follow. She wants to muddy the waters and add tangents. There is a lot of word salad going on, and it is really difficult to track. And I thought it might have just been because I'm monitoring multiple things at once, but like, you're probably right. She's doing this on purpose to turn you around and yeah. Yeah, exactly. You try to do in the moment what's happening, and then you also give people the law when you have time, but you also then do the little category edits. So like the co-workers thing, that's all in a nice little concise package, and yeah, things like that. No, it's good. As I explained to Vera the other day, it's just like, I can give you the information, but where to start? What do you want? Do you have an idea of what topic you want? Because there's so many. Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to kind of do the same approach, just like go all over the place. And I figure she can still have her fairy tale narrative like I do with everybody else. It just won't be chronological, but I think it will still work. I think it'll be entertaining. Watch this space. I'm doing things.
I mean, the knife was there, and I was the one screaming for help as I was holding it away from him. And so I was single for about 2 years, and then I met these people. And before I realized that my stalker was an incel, which I figured out pretty quickly, I was like, what is this someone I would want to date? Like, it was in that preliminary, like, I don't know, maybe.
And can you,
stage.
not to interrupt you, but can you explain what an incel is? Because I know that, like, I'm just like imagining my grandma, my mom listening. They're like, wait, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah, so an incel is just like someone who is involuntarily celibate. And it just essentially has morphed into its own slang term that kind of describes that loser sitting on Reddit for 23 hours a day with Cheetah dust and empty Mountain Dew cans all around them. And it just has a real stank smell that is involved with these people. Because I'm just going to paint you an image. And like the fedora's a little crusty, and the beard, the neck beard is strong, but the facial hair is weak. And there's a bald spot in the back, and you can just see the fedora covering it, just hanging on for dear life. And he's sitting there muttering under his breath about how like Jessica Alba's ugly.
Right.
Literally, like, yeah. That's what you're talking about.
Okay, so that was charming. Just fully dehumanized an entire population based on some imagery that she's created that is a complete and utter stereotype. Rosie, I had better not ever hear you say that people are stereotyping you or dehumanizing you or anything to that effect, because madam, what you just did is essentially madam. I personally don't like that word. I don't. I think that it's like, I understand the type of population that people are talking about when they use that word, but you know how I feel about an oversimplification of somebody's life, and that's gross. And coming from somebody in her position, You're dying even if that's your cousin. Oh. Yeah, and look, not gonna lie, but some of that description that she just gave absolutely applies to Remily. She wouldn't have known him yet, though. That's, yeah. Who said it before? Rules for me, but not for thee. Yeah.
Yeah, like bottom of the barrel. That was like a really good description.
Thank you. I just wanted to paint a little word picture for the people at home.
No, that's perfect.
So no, because trust me, I have met a mini incel, and they all.
But most
they even if they are.
Oh, and you know how I feel about absolutes. Let her finish that thought.
They can pretend they're a lawyer. They can pretend they're a therapist. They can pretend.
It's most people that like.
They all what, Rosie?
Like hate you online if you're hiding behind a screen and and you have 0 followers and it's a hidden profile. I just refer to anyone like that incel.
Exactly. Like they can cosplay that in their daytime, but that's who they are at heart.
If that's what you're taking your time to do,
it's pathetic.
Yeah.
Okay. She didn't finish her thought. They all do what, Rosie? They're all the same person with no nuance in their life? No, of course not, because you're the only person with nuance in your life, right? You're the only complicated being that experiences trauma and feelings and... I have thoughts. We don't like absolutes. No, we don't. That's the entire crux of my covering Rachel, is it not? Oh my god. Yes, there was so much venom in that pathetic. So, doesn't want us to group her in with the other girls, but happy to group incels all in together because they're all what? We will listen and we will not judge. I'm sorry. I am trying to be very open-minded. I am. And look, I'm human. I'm not a chicken, regardless of what you've heard. I'm human. I have human feelings and I do human things. And I just it is tricky because I am going to bring my own set of biases to the table that I have. We can't help our biases. To try and be aware of them is the best that we can do. And I'm looking at things through my filters. But it just... I hate the absolutes. I hate it. You're human? I feel scammed. Witness me doing human things, okay? Totally human. If you have trauma, if you're hurt by something, that feeling is 100% valid. You don't have to one up because other people have worse. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. It doesn't need to be the extreme in order for people to take it seriously. It really doesn't. You know what it's like? It's like that whole being told as a child, oh, there are starving children in Africa, so you should be grateful. It's that kind of mentality. We do have a picture of Rosie wearing a fedora. Who's the incel now, Rosie? No, I don't like absolutes. I don't think it's accurate because if you think about yourself, you will identify as a certain amount of demographics, right? Whether it's male, female, non-binary, black, white, Asian, whatever. Everybody is going to identify with a demographic of people. Does every single person within that demographic represent you? Does it represent your thoughts? Does it represent the way you act, the way you feel, the things that you hold true to yourself? And I hate that absolute language because it minimizes everybody down to the core of that stereotype. And it's damaging when we start talking like that. And yeah, that's why I call Rachel out relentlessly for it. I can't believe Vera's example demographics didn't include chickens. I'm telling you, I'm a human. Human things, Cramblings. I understand human things. Yeah, we're all individual, yes. And we all have our own set of biases and filters and complexities. And it just, you can't just boil everybody down to a single word. It's not... Anyway, sorry, that was a side rant. I will continue.
Okay.
I could never.
Great. I love that.
Anyway,
that I can see that being a TikTok clip. What is an incel? And there it is.
Please. Oh, hello. Got my headphones flying off. My goodness. The drama of it all. Okay. I very quickly realized I wanted to be with my ex, and we had a lot more in common.
And you met him online too?
Mm-hmm. I met them at this on Reddit.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, my ex, ironically, was like my.
By the way, I'm just going to insert here for people who aren't like fully across the Roz situation. We know that Remily saw her on a podcast, and that's why he got into contact with her. This is one of two possibilities that it might be, but given that that's a 50% chance of it being this one, this is what he saw. And I am not prepared right now to determine whether he is a feeder or not, but this is a strike against him, right? If this is the content that he was watching, and this is what made him go, that woman is for me, unless I might be right about the fact that he hasn't quite worked his sexuality situation out, and maybe he felt this might be a safe situation to have a beard or a lavender kind of situation going on. I don't know, but there's just bear in mind that this is one of two things that he saw on her. I am so old and out of touch to think Reddit, Instagram, or whatever are not suitable for dating. No, Marge. I sometimes look at what people go through. I haven't dated in 18 years, and I look at what they do today and I think, no, absolutely not. I am not compatible with that. In no world. I would be an incel for the rest of my life. I would just opt out because none of that seems appealing in any way, shape, or form. So no, it's not just you. I doubt he was listening to what she was saying if this is the podcast he watched. I think when it comes to Remily, none of this looks like it's going to end particularly well for him. Choosing Roz as a safe option surely is completely out of the realms of possibility. The perspective that I take with this particular thing is just he's described himself coming from a hardcore conservative Christian family. Those are his words, not my words. And he came out to them right before meeting her. And I just kind of wonder if you wanted to hide your sexuality and be with a woman who you're not planning on letting in on the details, perhaps you might want to look for a woman whose hormones may not represent the same drive as a normal, quote unquote, normal woman. I feel like from an intimacy perspective, maybe somebody like Roz could be seen as safe. Like I say, I'm speculating. I don't know. It's just kind of something that keeps lingering in my head. But I do agree with what your sentiment is coming from. Nothing about this woman screams safe option. I agree. Like from a mental perspective, from a well-being perspective, absolutely not. Oh, true. Opting out would make you a voluntary celibate. Fair. Yeah, she did. She brought the magazine to Texas. She did. Like I say, there are some strikes against him in my mind that make him a potential feeder, just given the ramifications of what that word means when you really think about it. I'm not willing to label somebody that I don't know for sure. And I don't know for sure yet. I think there's a possibility, there's a world where there's something else going on here. You don't have to agree with me, by the way.
My biggest chipper on the Chatterbait website, but I didn't know that until a little while later.
Chatterbait, do you post pictures?
It's a live site basically.
So like you would stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, it was interesting. I didn't make a ton of money because no one knew who I was.
But people could join.
But they could join and talk and get spicy if they tipped. Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And so it's an adult XXX streaming site.
Got it. So you met the stalker on there and then the ex-boyfriend on there.
On Reddit.
Reddit, okay.
But Reddit's what got me on Chatterbait.
Got it. And then were they both local?
No.
Okay.
So at the time, I believe the stalker was in Indiana. My ex, I ended up living with my ex for a few years.
Thank you so much, Wrinkle. I see you regularly posting. Actually I see all of you, but thank you so much, mods. I appreciate you so extra much tonight. Was that English? I don't think I'm talking goodly anymore. But no, I appreciate you all so much. Oh. Okay, Rice, you just brought to mind you just gave me a memory flashback. I know it was this was completely involuntary, but when you said, is this a dress or a tank top? And now I've looked at it properly for the first time, I'm realizing my mother used to wear almost exactly the same thing. And she just, imagine Foodie as the physique, she would wear it as a dress. Just putting that out there. And now I'm upset. I'm upset. Lily Moon, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Oh, I appreciate you. And Sparkle Fairy, you got the membership. Come and join us in the Discord if you want to. I'm living with an upset memory now. Thank you so much. Can we please get some chicken butts in the chat for Lily? I appreciate you. There is a sync delay, yes, with the Discord, for sure. Thank you so much, Cramblings. And thank you, LV, for putting the tutorial in. The tutorial's like 3 steps. It's super easy. Jump in there. Otherwise, add me as a friend. I'll get you in there if you have trouble. Genuine question. I had a stalker and got a harassment order against her. Did Rosie do anything against this stalker? Do any of my ROS specialists know the answer to this? Because I would like to know that also. If you've not seen it, please watch But I'm a Cheerleader for this reference. You've discovered your route. I have seen that movie, but not in a really long time. Oh, no. Epic trauma just flooding through my brain. And yeah, now I can't unsee it. Very upset. Very upset. She basically told him to stop, and he did. No, she never made a police report against anybody that I'm aware of, especially from back then, because the stalker she's talking about, she was having an emotional affair with him, in my opinion. So he was essentially being led on at that point. And when the boyfriend found out, that's when he became a stalker. And that's gross, right? Because that is the girl who has sexual relations with somebody, regrets it, and then claims SA. That's not okay. And actually, I remember Charlie talking about that she can be really dangerous with this kind of thing, because she did a similar thing, not in a an intimate way, but like a similar kind of tactic with Zach. The root cause of why kids were gay. Your root cause is why you dislike Rosie. Oh dear. True, Pammy. Stalkers don't usually stop after being asked. No, that's kind of part of the stalking, isn't it? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody that weighed in on that. Yeah. So again, you know, like, I know that there are people in here right now who have been stalked. I know that you know the terror of not feeling safe in your house, and it's a horrible feeling. They can be so pervasive in your sense of freedom and liberty, and it is a horrible, horrible sensation. And then you might be able to get away, but you know the fear of, oh well, I'm hiding right now, but they might find me. And for many years I lived like that too. And you know that terror, you know that feeling. And then to have somebody like that just bandy about the word stalker, it's not okay. How many times do I have to say this for how many different scenarios? It's not okay to use that word in that circumstance. Yes, notice her words. If she regrets something, stalking, accidental threesome, don't think I can say that word, but it starts with G, into situations. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, yours messaged you as a friend saying they had changed their number, so you spoke to her for 2 years thinking she was your friend. Devastating. It's such a violation. Yeah. But it's gross. And like, honestly, that's because I'm feeling heated about that because I have that situation. Although, to be quite honest, these days my nuggets, if my mother did find me and turn up, I'm not sure that I would react the way that I would have 10 years ago, for example. But I'm heated because I've gone through that. I can see that she's doing this for so many other scenarios for people who have gone through this. Oh, good. Oh, good. Nikki, just wait. Oh my clucking god. Oh, super fun. There's more coming. Yes, I agree. She uses extremely triggering and emotive language, just like she said she has trauma from green beans. That's your baseline. I giggle a little bit on the inside every time you say that because green beans are my ultimate favorite vegetable right now. Yeah, but it's ridiculous, right? It's absurd. Back from a meeting and you just noticed, is that the first Rosie video you see where she does not eat? I think it is for me. You've seen a stalker outside your door 6 times today. Voice from the hallway, I'm just dropping off your DoorDash orders. I was taking that seriously for a moment. Funny. But yes, I think that's kind of where we're coming from at that point. They just keep coming back and they just keep bringing me food. Wow, you had someone try to break into your bedroom window one night while you were naked in bed. In a state of nature, one might say. Called out, oi, because of course you did, and he ran off. Luckily, turned out to be a kid. Goodness. Yeah, it's gross.
I moved to Omaha twice to be with him. I don't know how much we'll get into the ex on here.
Okay, that's fine.
What I will say is, had you done this interview with me 6 months ago, I would have read him for filth. But some things have transpired recently. Like actually in June, I went on a trip and I didn't tell my followers where I went, but I went to go see him because we reconnected when I went to the mental hospital the first time this year. Again, we'll get to that.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so
you met both of them on Reddit.
Yeah, and okay. I fell so madly in love with him, and the majority of our relationship was like monogamous and like pretty standard, and then near the end, things really changed because my stalker's a monster. He's a self-proclaimed narcissistic sociopath.
Did the Skype web rape thing, did that only happen once or was that a reoccurring thing?
That only happened once.
Okay.
And I think it's because he got so entrenched in my life he didn't need to.
But he would just like what, harass you
Well,
and like
let me explain.
Okay.
Because it's more insidious than that.
Translation. Shut up. This is the Rosie Show now. Let me speak. Can I speak?
Okay.
So what happened was we connected as friends, and I was like, you know, would I date someone like him? I realized very quickly I wasn't that interested, so I kind of run-zoned him. He played it cool, but basically what ended up happening was we would like video chat and stuff, and there's a program called TeamViewer that like my dad uses a lot to like do IT work and like help fix computers and stuff. And so I gave him like temporary access with TeamViewer to show me stuff on his computer.
Why would you do that? No, like, what? Okay. There's a difference between sharing a screen with someone and giving them control of your computer. Why? Why would you possibly? It's like, okay, don't get me wrong. I was very stupid back in the day. As a teenager, as an early 20-something, my worldview was very warped for many different reasons. I did some very dangerous and very stupid shit in my youth. Things that I look back on and I go, I was so lucky. That was nothing but luck that nothing bad happened in that scenario. But like, why would you give control of your computer to somebody that you're saying is stalking you? You saw spinny circles as Vera tried to process that. Like, I don't feel like it takes a tech-savvy person to be able to go, okay, maybe it's not good cybersecurity to give somebody control of my computer. Can I speak has become a vocal stimulus when listening to Girl World. It's really good. It's actually, I think, one of the better Amberisms that's come out of it. I can't bring myself to say point blank peer. I don't like it. There's something about it that upsets me deeply. Rosie said the stalker was a self-proclaimed narcissist. I'd love to hear that from him if he's real. I'm guessing he's probably just some guy that was trying to make a connection with this situation and is probably nothing more than having a little bit of a predilection kind of person, which is normal. Yeah, TeamViewer requires the receiving computer to accept access. Yeah. I've used a few different remote access kind of things like that, and I don't know why. I can't fathom why you would want to do that. Actually, that's a good point, Nikki. So weird how this gang of stalkers never appeared and showed themselves. Because you would think, how I've been saying that the feeding the trolls will escalate the behavior, and lo and behold, I was right because I'm a clucking fortune teller apparently. The behavior escalates. It doesn't just disappear like that. Curious. Thank you so much. Another 5 gifted memberships. You've been far too generous tonight. I appreciate you. Thank you. Who have we got? The Bubbly Chick, Foxy Cinnamon, Lizzie B. Oh, spelled like Lizzie Hale, or is it Izzy B? Go Touch Grass and Brandy, congratulations, you all just got given a membership. Can we please have some chicken butts in the chat? Or Juicy Peaches for Curious, thank you so much. Yeah, she's not that stupid, though she seeks the drama. Yeah, but then she claims that she's a victim for it. That's a problem. Lizzie. Do we have another? Okay, Hailstorm is my all-time favorite band. Like, all-time. Lizzie Hale is my spirit animal. I want to grow up to be her, and she's fabulous. And I have a few Hailstorm fans in here. I love how they just pop up from time to time.
So it basically is like a viewing window. And this was when like I was like I'd just been getting to know him for a little bit, and he showed me that like his use of the dark web. He showed me his back end algorithms on how he sent out
Madam, he showed you his back end? My goodness.
text messages and links to fish women. He showed me.
Sorry? Is this a term I'm unfamiliar with? No problem, Nikki. I might be gone, but no, thank you so much for being in here. Fish? Women? Am I missing something? Oh, I didn't put that together. So she let him use the dark web on her computer via TeamViewer. Yeah, just let that sink in for a moment. Oh, fishing. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm with you. I was thinking about the wrong kind of fish woman. My head went to mermaid. Vera, you better be here when I come back. I need something to listen to. Actually, never mind. Showing off my back end. Yes, thank you, everybody. Oh dear. Oh, crazy how Girl World has both a QLR and an ALR. And do you know what's really funny? What I learned from Nikki, and I lost my absolute shit over it. Rosie's name is Rosalind. She is Rosie Lynn. You cannot make this shit up. It's great. I forgot that I was going to call her Rosie Lynn from now on. Too many names for Rosie. You heard Fishwoman first too. So she doesn't speak very clearly, to be fair. I don't think this is just on me. Yep, she is the true Lynn.
Like how he's able to clone phone numbers. And he also, and these might not all have been on one call. So
yeah, thank you. Phishing is scamming. I am aware of what phishing is. I just, my brain, the visual went to a mermaid, and I was like thinking, is it some sort of predilection, like fish woman? Yeah, never mind. I went on a whole different path there.
Memory's really fuzzy, but these are the things that I remember. He showed me like all these different fake Facebook profiles.
What do we think about the floated notion? I'm speculating, not verified. When things are, quote, fuzzy, does this equate with I need to lie here, but I'm not able to lie quickly? Oh, yes. My husband says this every time. He's like, is that a fake name? Surely she's picked it from Anne Boleyn. And I'm like, I don't think Amber's that smart. I know, you're not the only one. Sorry, catching up. She's forever ruined the word quirky. The girls have ruined a lot of things for me, including Jar. Like, I'm so upset. I thought I was so original and unique and quirky. Oh dear. You also kept hearing Anne Boleyn. Yeah, no. It's just her first and middle name.
That he used to like add fat women at one point. This was later on, this one memory I have, because I saw one of my mutuals in the recommended, and I realized he'd shown me a profile at 2 different points, and the mutuals had grown exponentially, and that was when I realized he had used my friends list to add these other fat women. And eventually what I came to realize was he was farming for photos that are less available, like publicly. So he was friending these these fat women from Instagram, like finding their Facebooks of like a lot of them will have like private family Facebooks or just like more private Facebooks, and who may post photos on there that they wouldn't necessarily post publicly. And he would do that to farm photos. He Again, I just want to reiterate, he's a self-proclaimed narcissistic sociopath. He said those words to me. He would treat his Facebook like a social experiment. He would post like really egregious things just to piss people off, and then tell me privately like, oh, I don't actually mean them, blah blah blah. Like, I just want, basically just like rage baiting. He was obsessed with his ex. At one point he pretended to be his ex and picked bitch fights with me through Google Chat. And I figured this out in 2021 because in 2015 when he was doing.
Okay, I don't doubt that there is this kind of person out there. I really don't. I mean, it's kind of reminding me a little bit of Nicholas Godejohn, honestly. But why are we giving this person access to our computer? Why are we talking to this person? Why do we continue to fan the flames of said stalker? Nikki, I feel like this makes the most sense. She was cheating on her boyfriend virtually, in my opinion, allegedly. There are holes in the story otherwise, things that don't make sense. And when things don't make sense, that's where I like to start digging into them.
Doing that, he like literally sent me nudes of them together pretending to be her, like telling me to stay away from him, and I'm literally just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I have a boyfriend.
He pretended to be his ex. Years later, she pretended to be her ex. And there are a lot of people that think that she is the quote-unquote hater that was talking to his mother, for Remily's mother, for a month. I wasn't sure on that theory when I first started covering her, but after time of seeing her patterns and dialing into her behavioral like systems that she sets up, I kind of think she might do that. I think it's plausible at the very least. And when a man came out on the internet forums and said that he'd seen her body, her boyfriend was confused. And then she told her family and friends and parents that her nudes are on the internet because of a stalker, not because of a man she'd pissed off. That's not good. Good night, Kex. Yeah, you shouldn't be here. This is not your time slot. Sleep well. There's no question of whether she would go that far. She 100% would. I think it's within her moral and ethical boundary line. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out later, put it that way. That's what I'll say.
Like, do you, boo? Like, what the fuck? And then, like, he sent me videos of her after getting weight loss surgery, which is one of the reasons why he hated her. Because she got weight loss surgery, because she lost weight. And he had an archetype, and I'm his archetype to a T. There's a few other models that look like me in terms of archetype.
Oh my gosh, this actually does sound like Nicholas Godejohn. Anybody else feeling that vibe? I don't know. Like, sometimes, okay, we have a lot of goths and emos in here, and I think we tend to gravitate towards that sort of thing because we feel like we don't fit into society and we want an outlet. In my case, I got into it very young, and it then just, it stuck. It tends to do that. But like sometimes that drive to not fit into society and have it become your personality in a sense, sometimes that goes this route, and it's not actually that the individuals are sociopaths or anarchists or anything like that. It's just that it's an image that they want to imbue so that the world can see them that way. And this is kind of just sounding a little bit like a young man who is trying to be his little quirky self, I keep saying quirky. I'm sorry. She stole it. She did ruin it. No problem, Elvie. Thank you so much for being in here. No, thank you. Don't apologize. Yeah, that's an interesting take. You've said from the start she probably arranged for somebody to take those photos in Texas, so she had an excuse not to vlog. Now, that tracks because in the vlog that she released prior to going to Texas, she said, I don't want to be editing while I'm there because that doesn't sound like fun. Understandable, going to see the boyfriend, don't want to vlog. So then she made all those promises, but then she would have needed an excuse, so then all of a sudden this becomes plausible too. Rice, I agree. Unrelated, this is a horrible podcast setup. I've been thinking that the whole time. I wasn't going to say anything, but it's awful. There's like zero effort put into this. You're not sure if the person that took the photos was arranged by Rosie, but the conversations with the mother have still not been released, so I think that was her until I see the evidence it wasn't. But the problem is, though, whether all of this is her or not, she set herself up to be the person that it's plausible that it could be. That's bad, and that's a criticism that I come to with Amber as well. She spent so much time lying that she set herself up to be the person that it's plausible that she's lying about everything. There's so much doubt that has been cast on all of us from the actions. That's what causes the problem.
It's like hair color, like dark hair, dark eyes, a certain type of shape, aesthetically, you know, good looking, whatever, you know, not to toot my own horn, but, you know, I'm not ugly. And things like that. He would tell me all the time that I sound like her. Slide. And so he would send me videos. I'm like, I don't. It's the weirdest fucking thing. But he told me, like in these video chats, that his wet dream was to induce a TBI in his ex because she's a traumatized person just like I am.
What's TBI?
Traumatic brain injury. So whether or not this is true, I don't know. But he believes that you can induce a traumatic brain injury in someone by creating such heightened states of trauma to kill them psychologically. And that was his wet dream. Based on everything I know about him, I believe he's addicted to trauma porn. And I believe he wanted to turn me into his own trauma porn factory. And he...
I don't know that you should be talking about people like this on the internet. Yes. Why is she saying this? This isn't her story yet again. There are some wild jumps going on here. Reaching. Much reaching. I don't love this. I don't love it because it's based on a real person. Theoretically, he's probably safe because he's not recognizable, but I don't love that. This is a lot before bed. Did you or did you not have hundreds of trigger warnings before this? No, you were here and it's your own fault. Yummy. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for the dreams people are going to have tonight.
He basically told me that as long as I don't block him, he'll never do these things to me. And in 2021, I blocked him. So 2021, we'll get to that in a minute. But so this was all kind of the groundworks between 2013 and 2015.
And did your boyfriend at the time know about all this stuff that was happening?
No, so because I repeated a pattern.
Okay. Yep. Nikki's vision is coming into sharp focus here. I don't know. Look, it also feels, as horrible as it feels for her to be saying that about this guy, it also feels horrible to say that she is the sort of person that would make this up just to hide an affair. But in all honesty, I've known these people in real life and it does kind of track. I don't know. We're all going to be here speculating, but this is rough. This is not good. Nearing the afternoon for you, Sparkle Fairy, so you are good. We can traumatize you all you want because you're a ways from bedtime. You never retain anything. Why wouldn't you block him sooner? Because she was scared of the ramifications of that, apparently. I don't love any of this.
You just held it all in. Wow.
So because, as I mentioned in childhood, what happened to me, I didn't tell anyone.
Right.
When I realized how deep in shit I was, it took a couple, like a year, maybe 2 to realize.
No, that's not your pattern. No, I can already see that. Your pattern is not, I don't tell anyone. Your pattern is, I get into a little bit of hot water and I make up the most absurd stories so that people could not possibly ever blame me for my own actions.
Truly just how deep I was. I also experienced like Stockholm with this guy. Like, I remember like telling him things like I love you and things like that. He actually, not only do I think he groomed me into feederism, I think he groomed/brainwashed me into believing I'm polyamorous. Fun fact, I'm not. I thought I was for years.
Yeah, okay, so things that Charlie has said now are starting to make a lot of sense. Yeah, this is, like, I regret this, so now I'm going to do a complete flip on this person.
And I want you to explain too what feederism is.
Feederism is a kink that is a part of some of the plus size spaces. It's hotly debated. There are a lot of people that are super against it. There are a lot of people that are really for it. And at its essence, at its most innocence, it's about like a sexual kink regarding feeding someone, generally for the purpose of them being fat or gaining weight. There's a big umbrella when it comes to feederism. And the thing about this guy is I think he was into what's called death feederism, and that's where I have a lot of problems. And death feederism is what it sounds like. It's feeding someone to the point of getting so fat and so big that they die. And I've never been okay with that. I never made content surrounding that. But I actually had one in real life interaction with my stalker while I was...
One could argue that making any content in that vein is making that kind of content. Just because of the state of things, like the health state that's going on, yeah, it could absolutely be argued that any of that content is exactly for that.
Was, I think, a year into my relationship. I have family in Indiana, and he knew that, and I was planning a trip to go see my family. And he basically made it clear that I didn't really have a choice about seeing him, and I just needed to make it happen. Because I know what he was capable of. And he made it clear. So I had to lie to my boyfriend. I had to lie to my family. It was the same weekend I actually met the founder of Pizza Sisters for Life randomly, and I remember talking to her about it and trying to be excited about what I was going to go do.
So I'm going to put parts of this into a video. Part of why I'm doing this in a live is because I basically want to know how this channel is going to handle copyright. Because we can all sit here and have a bit of fun. It's a bit different than going through all of the work to do a video and edit and everything that is entailed. But I would be very interested because I'm fairly confident that everything that we've heard in the last 15 minutes of the video, not of the live, is out and out lies. None of it sounds sincere, whereas part of it, when she was talking about her childhood, I think might have been real, parts of it at least. I'd be very interested to contrast and compare, with edits as to what's going on here with her, how she's speaking, what's different. My sound is in and out. Is anybody else experiencing my sound being in and out? That's weird. I hope not. I don't know how I feel about her openly describing what it is while simultaneously saying she buys into as well as making the content. Yeah. Oh no. No, I think it might be your end, Polly. I'm sorry. Just, yeah, honestly, it could have been me for sure. Yeah, but if you don't send this person nudes or say personal things, how could they blackmail you? What are they threatening you with? Yeah, it's just some random on the internet at that point.
Even though I didn't want to go, I didn't want to cheat on my boyfriend. You know, I really didn't. And like at the time,
I can see why Nikki said what she said now.
Understand the nuance of what the coercion was.
Coerced.
And also at the time, this was around the time where Google Glasses were supposed to be the new big thing. So I think this was in 2014. And I believe that when we met up, he recorded me on his Google Glasses without.
Yeah, her tone is bugging you. I think this is all lies. I think this is what Rosie looks like when she lies. Coercion. I'm sorry. I'm giggling because you can't make this stuff up. I couldn't write this better.
My consent. I know he stealthed me. And he coerced me into an act of feudalism without me knowing what it was. So to kind of back up, when I did arrive at the hotel, I remember I got to the door and I walked in and the room was empty. And I walk in and I stop at the...
You know what? What's wrong with saying, I made a mistake. I put myself into a situation. I betrayed my boyfriend. I made decisions that, looking back on them, were utterly stupid. I'm not going to do those things moving forward. But yeah, I was an idiot when I was younger. What's wrong with saying that? Instead of actively making up things that can damage people's lives. You know, if this got into the hands of the wrong person, you know... what did Nikki say? You missed the first half. Nikki thinks that this guy was not a stalker, that she was actually having an emotional affair with him, and that she didn't want her boyfriend to find out, and this is basically what's come of it. I don't know why they all say coerced. Is it like an American thing? I don't know. Maybe it's a girl thing. Yeah, it also makes her look like an idiot. It does. She, ironically, would look like less of an idiot if she just said, I was an idiot. Yeah, she's legit saying coerced. Not to mention the desired thing, unaliving of his girlfriend thing. We sure this isn't Tommy? Tomily. It's not gay. I'm so sorry. It's not an American thing. It's a girl thing. Did she get this from Amber? Like, was Amber saying... Amber would have been saying coerced by this point, right? I'm pretty sure.
Bathroom, and I realize the lights off, and I look in, and the energy, the aura of that room was so fucking dark. And I look over and I see him literally just like lurking in the corner of the bathroom with the lights off, and I'm like, I fucked up. Like, so I went into like full fawn mode. I remember I was like, I'm just gonna people please my way through this. Like, you know, I don't know if I thought about it in that terms, but that's just kind of where my brain went. So I was just like, I don't know. I felt like I was just putting on a performance. And at one point he left to go get lunch. And when he came back, I grabbed my food to start to eat. And that's when he jumped me. And I said, what are you doing? Because I'm just trying to eat my
Rice, thank you so much. Girl World has given me TBI. I say literally. I have forgotten what the word was, but I nearly said something to my husband earlier today too, and then I realized that he would not appreciate the exquisite joke that I was about to make. Oh, I've forgotten what it was now, but it was along the lines of the dangling ankle. But yeah, it creeps in. Sorry about your TBI. Thoughts and prayers. You feel like Amber would say coerced? No, she's actually said coerced. She did a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, about performance. She now gives me the vibe she's performing a nice invented story. Yeah. Yep. Me too.
Food. And he goes, do you know what feederism is? And I said, no. And that's when he continued to do what he was doing and explain what it was to create that psychological tie. So I didn't know what to do. And so, you know, the act finished and
So did you guys have sex?
That's a good point, Wrinkle. I didn't want to cheat on my boyfriend, suggesting she knew it would be sexual. Cut to, he jumped on me and I was like, what are you doing? Yeah. That's it. I didn't want to cheat on my boyfriend. That's the key phrase. And it has so much subtext to it and so much context that must have led to that point. So yeah, I kind of agree with Nikki. I think there was an emotional affair going on there. And this is how she manages to get out of the consequences, which is a problematic lesson to have learned, that if she can just really invent her way out of a sticky situation, it's very very juvenile, like a very juvenile way of dealing with things, because you know kids will do that when they're first as they're going through their brain development and they first start to learn how to lie. This is the kind of thing, except this is more sinister because this is an actual grown-ass woman who could affect people's lives with this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to read this out, but I will put it on the screen for those of you who want to read it. I've got the giggles. Oh, true. The first one she said. So Amber said it like coerced in the past and now exaggerates it to coerced. Both are wrong because there's no H. Yes, fair.
I mean, yeah.
Rape,
yeah.
Oh, Pat Ray. Yes, this. She revokes consent retroactively. She is dangerous. That right there is put so well and so concisely, and it's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah, revokes consent retroactively. That is dangerous.
Like date rape is just it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard because like in 2020, like I was raped and it was a very different experience.
Right.
But
well, I don't think there's a clear cut definition of
because
rape.
I was trying so hard to convince myself that I wanted to be there.
Well, I think too, when you're trying, it's like fight or flight. When you're trying to get through something, you do it.
Okay. It's fine to get yourself into a situation that you regret, that you wish you hadn't have done. Maybe decisions that you made led to a situation that you're just not happy with having that represent you as an individual. It's not okay to then turn around and make it something sinister. Just say, I made a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. Oh, Pammy, yes, no, there is a clear-cut definition, indeed. There kind of is. There really is. Ah, does she think? Does she think this is 50 Shades of Grey? He explained to me what feederism was and then did said thing. Yeah, even the interviewer is getting suspicious and tries to be more clear about it. Yep. Yes, I agree, Pat Ray. And that's the issue, because when people do this kind of thing with these sorts of situations, it causes real situations to be doubted. We saw a lot of that in the Me Too movement, because there were, unfortunately, people coming forward with claims that realistically were just regret. And it's not fair to the people who have actually gone through those situations to cast that kind of doubt on the whole thing.
What you gotta do?
I loved my ex with like all my heart. And I hated myself so much.
And I regretted having an emotional affair with somebody. That's the sentence.
For what had happened for so long. It took me, and at this point, he knows the ins and outs of the story, and he has a lot of compassion for me.
And you know what? Sometimes that's life. If you made a mistake like that, sometimes the consequence is going to be that you lose that person that you really love. Or maybe that person is really forgiving and finds a way to be able to work around it. I know I could not possibly be one of those people, but some people can do that. But facing those kind of consequences is important in life. It's important to build the character. It's important to not just learn the lesson that you can lie horribly about people to get out of the situation. I can't believe it. I did not think that this was going this way. And I legitimately can't believe that she does this to people. Granted, I will just put out there is a world where it's possible she's telling the truth. But my goodness, does this look different to some of the things she was talking about earlier? That she's telling on herself in the conversation as well. I didn't want to cheat on my boyfriend. This is very icky. This is not comfortable.
Even though, like, in the way that we ended up breaking up in 2021, like, it was really rough because it had a lot to do with the stalker situation. And, you know, how to...
I see that. Yeah. It's hitting me in a very visceral way. Vera, this is why we say she's worse than the other girls. She works hard to ruin lives. I mean, it could be argued that Amber does. It's on a smaller scale, though, isn't it? This is more like with reckless abandon. There's something different to it. I agree.
I just fucking told him before that I met that man. My life could have been very different, but
yeah, but you can't think that way.
Yeah,
you really just can't.
It's just like, you know, that act for me with regards to feederism, I actually kind of had a no response after that event for many years. And then me and my ex broke up for the first time in 2019.
But like, that's when you learned about like that term, and like that's what you're stalking.
Yeah, you think there could be a kernel of truth, but it just sounds like good old Pulp Fiction. I think the kernel of truth was that she didn't want to cheat on her boyfriend. I think there's regret there. I think that's the truth. People who lie like to over-explain. This is a lot more detailed than her talking about the other thing that happened. Yeah, and when you remember her talking about her childhood, it's very different than that too. Oh, what just happened? Sorry, I'll come back to you. Rice, thank you so much. I love that. A super chat to just say 50 Shades of Gravy. Thank you. I appreciate you. Benita, it's because of the way she's describing it, maybe to inflame it or to drive her narrative, but this is why people can't relate. It's like, to be a creator, she has to be a storyteller. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on that. Um, yeah. And the irony being, I have integrated storytelling into my creating. Isn't that funny? That can be done in a completely benign way. That was absolutely worth repeating in a super chat to get it highlighted. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I miss it? I'm sorry. Oh, dear. This is a learning channel.
Or was into.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think my stalker was into some really fucked up stuff. Like,
for sure.
I think he was into death feederism. I mean,
So
just
like, what did he want you to do? Just keep eat? Like, would he basically instruct you like what to eat or how much to eat?
well, I can get more of that with the clients because for him, it was more just like a baby step, and it was more just like, he essentially gave me something to eat, and then like started like
Oh my gosh. No, that's okay, Pat Ray. We can say feederism. YouTube for some reason is okay with that one. You were saying that she's taken accusations against people to tabloid magazines in the guise of anti-predilection. She goes all out. Wow. You originally posted the 50 Shades of Gravy, but you're glad to see it highlighted, causing delight. Credit to OP. There you go. Thank you. If she wanted to write prawn-style stories, there are websites for that. You can even make money from it. This is for attention, sympathy, and the excuse of bad behavior. I agree. Actually, Candy did that for a while too. Yeah, if there's somebody that is disrupting the chat that I've missed, mods, you use your better judgment. You can time out or you can get rid of them, but I didn't see anything, but feel free to act as you see appropriate. I trust you all. You understand my vision. Yeah, actually, that's a good point too. Everyone knows you never say my stalker. Because there have been studies done on this. And the worst thing you can do if you have a stalker situation is to acknowledge them in any way. I mean, sometimes it still goes south even if you don't, but you don't want to risk it. And she's repeating that issue with the current trolls that she's got as well. Every time she escalates their behavior.
fingering me.
Okay.
You know, like, not to get too detailed.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, and so.
So it's more of like the act of like eating and then doing something sexual.
At least in that instance, right.
Okay.
But like for a lot of like the content and stuff that I did. So I got back into the adult spaces in like 2019. So from 2019 till the end of 2021, I did like amateur, like more underground adult work because I really needed the money. My ex and I broke up and I moved back to Georgia. And that was when a friend told me about a website that's basically like a social media website for feeders and plus size people. And you don't have to be a feeder or a feedie to be on it, which a feedie is the person that the feeder feeds. And initially I got into it to start trying to make money. And then between, you know, trying to educate myself, the content, I was still in talks with the stalker. And like he would condition me by like sending really like salacious pictures of food too. Like this is what's so fucking weird about this story.
So what I'm hearing in every single thing that she talks about is no accountability for any of her actions at all. And like, come on, I mean, we all know that there are situations that people can get into where they don't have responsibility in what happens. And especially when it comes to, for example, the childhood sort of stuff. absolutely okay to not take any accountability for actions in that situation. But these are situations that she's doing as an adult, for money, in relationships. You want to tell me, Rosie, that you have absolutely no part to play in any of this? Not even sharing your sharing your computer access on the dark web did you take any accountability in, where you actually have to actively allow that person to do it. Sorry, desk noises. No accountability anywhere. No blame. Not even a, well, I shouldn't have. I made a mistake. You know? Never. Never accountability. Nothing is, oh, hello, Mels. Nothing is ever her fault. She can't make a single decision without being G-worded or forced or coerced. I'm inclined to agree that this is absolutely a facet of it. A lack of accountability, that is what makes a lol cow, in your opinion. It's definitely part of it, for sure. Who else does that? It's okay, she was in her 20s, so it doesn't count. Yeah, she was like a kid. Yeah, I agree with you, Sparkle Fairy. I'd be so curious for all of these people to speak out and give their side. And, you know, when it comes to Amber, and we kind of got that with Casey when he told his story as well. It would be cool to hear these people, but how would we ever know that it was them? Hello, Puppeteer Conspiracy. I love the name. First time watching, welcome in. It's just, it's not how functional adults work in this world. Like, could you imagine coming up against this in a relationship kind of setting? You would never be the one that is right or justified in any way. You would always be the perpetrator. And when we overlay this into Remily and potentially what he has coming for him, I don't know if he fully gets what he's gotten himself into. And the fact, when we went through all of his Reddit posts, he just really strikes me as a young man who is still trying to work himself out. And I'm not saying that he has no part to play in this and that he's completely innocent. That's yet to be determined. But I am concerned that if I'm right about that and he is just trying to figure some shit out, that this actually, looking at this, could be a very dangerous situation for him. Yeah. Rosie would tell us, Rosie would tell us it was them, just like all the Remy stuff. What's she going to turn around? What's that spin going to be on that story? How is it going to be his fault? Because bear in mind as well, an observation that I've made with her and Remily is that she is actually making him look like a feeder. He has a couple of strikes against him, but they're very, very intangible strikes. She is making him look like a feeder. She is making all of their outings to do with food. She is doing all of the cooking in his kitchen. And I think this is setting him up into a very vulnerable situation, whether it's true or not. But on the off chance that it's not true, that's not good. We know where he lives. We know his face. We know what he's studying. We know his family. There's too much there. His life can be ruined from these kinds of allegations. You're glad you're learning all this. You had no idea why people didn't like Rosie. You're only hip to like a month ago. I'm learning with you. Yeah. The more I get to see, the more I get to dial in on what's happening, and this interview has been wonderful for pattern setting. That's why Rosie smears people, even to the media. What if they expose her? She tries to discredit their entire image. Will ruin a life to look like she didn't do anything wrong, just preemptively. And Nikki has said that to me too. Yeah. Yeah. And she's doing that to reactors too, isn't she? She's trying to make them look bad. But she's so plainly a liar, so we should question everything she says. I'm sorry. I don't know what this is in relation to, but I hope it's about the cat. Cramblings, you want to say anything? Wait, what? Did she get a Taco Bell employee fired over sour cream? Or is that made up? My goodness. If I have seen so many people fired or quit, like public service people like that, due to my mother. I would hate to think that she's running around doing that too. Uh-huh. It's about the cat. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to use the absolute language, but they do have significant overlaps, Amber, Boogie, and Rosie. That is not a group you want to be part of. It's really not. I mean, anything with Boogie in it is not a group you want to be part of. Yeah, it sounds like your mother eats the whole meal and then complains that it was terrible and that she deserves a discount. Honestly, my mother just used to walk around looking for fights to pick, I think. Just, you know, because the service people can't really talk back in any way, shape, or form. We'll keep playing. I'm going to need to leave you all, lovely people. Wow, we've nearly done 4 hours. What is that? You squeezed an extra hour out of me. Oh, I have a 5-minute warning. Let's just get this to the 50-minute mark, and then we'll stop, and that'll be a good place to pick up from.
Is like, he would do like weird shit, and for so many years I didn't fully understand it. Like, he would condition me into like reinforcing that like he loved me and that we had a connection and that I can have that with my boyfriend too, and that's like what polyamory is. But I never actually loved him. I was afraid of him.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was afraid of him. I was afraid of what he could do to me, because I mean, in 2021 he did clone my phone number. I was deleting all the texts that he was sending, and one day my finger slipped. He cloned my phone number. He got into my phone. He told me about, like, in 2014, how he would listen to these girls' phone calls, and he would flip his mic on for just a few seconds to like freak them out and then turn it off again. He did that to me.
Yeah, no accountability. Absolutely none all the way through this. It would be interesting to actually count all of the times that she blames the results of her actions on somebody else throughout this entire interview. Yeah, the whole time interviewer covers her face, body language. I don't want to say anything. She's also been doing some self-soothing actions as well. I don't think this woman is enjoying this interview. We are ending soon. I'm so sorry. I have to go have dinner. Southern Benita, thank you so much. Thank you for the wake up chat and trauma in your cup. Credit to Rice for that one. Oh, thank you so much. Trauma in your cup. Hey, Moab. Did she say any steps she took to make herself safe, like changing her number? No, she hasn't mentioned anything like that. Nothing at all. It's just been full-on focus on how wretched this individual is. Can't I just peck some corn or swallow some grubs? It's raining outside. I appreciate that you all want me to stay very much. But I will be picking this up on my Thursday, Friday stream, whatever it normally is for you all at your time zone. And I think we'll have a good chance of actually getting it finished as well. We made a lot more headway tonight than I kind of thought we might. But thank you so much, everybody. The super chats and the gifted memberships have been beyond generous from everyone, and thank you, Curious, for making me absolutely speechless. But again, and a big thank you to all of my mods tonight. I know you had some heavy lifting for this one, and you're just absolutely, I'm so lucky to have you all in here. I'm very, very grateful. Might need to cover the interviewer's feet on the next stream. I'll see what I can do. But a little bit of interference all the way through there. But yeah, no, thank you so much, everyone, to everyone who was chatting and all of my lurkers. And thank you so much to all of the replay nuggets. I appreciate each and every one of you. But for now, that is all the clucks I have left to give. Stay golden, my little nuggets, and I'll catch you next time.